Now, everything we just did was a user adoption metrics. And it was the first one, measure Salesforce usage. So, what's the word I'm looking for? So conceivably, we could probably scroll down and answer these questions. What are some early indicators of success when measuring user adoption of Salesforce? Login rates and ROI increase? I don't remember anything about ROI increase. Login rates and record updates? I remember this one. Record updates and ROI increase. Again, this is along the lines of how to be a good test taker. We know ROI increase was nowhere. We did not see it one place. So we can get out of A, X out of C, and know immediately it's either B, D, or E. And we don't even know D and E, but we know B seems pretty likely so far. Trailhead usage and record updates. Do you remember anything about Trailhead usage? I don't, so I could get rid of it. And again, I don't want to harp on it too much, but I do need you to understand that the way this curriculum is created is for your benefit. By me taking the step to do all of the work for you, and I don't mean that in terms of I'm working and you're not, but getting all the minutia out of the way that you never even have the opportunity to go through it. So for instance, you would be we're learning this on Trailhead. You would be reading Trailhead to go ahead and get this information, which then when you would get to this question, it might confuse you to say Trailhead usage. I'm on Trailhead. I know I just read something and Trailhead was there, so it has to be a part of it. But because I read it first and then took only the questions, Trailhead doesn't even come into your head, meaning you know right away D is not the answer as well. And if Trailhead isn't the answer, if D is not the answer for Trailhead, well then E is the same thing. So I'm pretty confident that B is the correct answer. Number 2, which of these describes good data quality? Data volume, I don't remember that. Data completeness, I don't remember that. Data accuracy, I do remember that. Now here's a problem, it's A and B and B and C. I also said I didn't remember either one of these. Now I could access my brain though. Which of these describes good data quality? Now does volume describe quality? No, it's quantity versus quality, right? So we know volume is not a precursor to quality. Completeness, is that a precursor to quality? Yeah, it is. If it's complete, it's better quality. And accuracy, duh, right? So B and C. Which of these should you avoid when assessing user satisfaction? Distributing a survey? No, we've read that survey is a good thing. Formal business process review? I do remember something about that. I'm unsure. Ignoring user feedback? Which of these should you avoid when assessing user satisfaction? So think about the question. It's almost like a double negative. If you want to assess user satisfaction, what should you not do, right? Like what should you avoid? And ignoring user feedback seems like something you'd want to avoid. Chatter poll, chatter collaboration. So right away, you can see 4 of these things are good. You would want to use that in assessing user satisfaction. One of them, you would not. Now let's take a step back from the question. It does not matter what the question is. So say for instance, we got rid of the question, right? We have no idea what it says. We can take a look at just the answers and see 4 are something and 1 is something else. When answering a question, if there's only one option that is correct, and you can assess the answers to know only one option is different than the others, we could feel quite confident that that's the correct answer. Hey! We got them all. And now, what you can very clearly see is I've never taken this test before. Hence, I'm taking it with you. And what you could also clearly see is that the work we did in building the flashcards was vindicated, right? Once we build that confidence in knowing, okay, great, the flashcards are a really valuable resource, then by the time we get to that last week where we save the 4 or 5 hours a day of just doing flashcards, imagine walking into a test with the exact confidence that we just had. That's really cool, right? So tackle the next unit. Now track business outcomes, and this is what this is. Now we don't want to read any of this. I have no interest in reading any of this. Well, because I read it like 1,000 times, but you should have no interest in reading it. So let's, it's funny how that math works. Like 21 to 31 is really 11 questions because you got to count the first one. So I think we went through them all. So let's go ahead and see if we can answer some questions. Now, we're not reading any of this. You're not reading any of it. I'm not, well, I already did, but. What are examples of how you can measure business performance in Salesforce? Opportunity win-loss ratio. I think we read that, yeah. Number of active licenses. I don't remember reading that. Lead conversion rates. I do remember reading that. So A and C. What should you avoid doing when downloading an App Exchange dashboard? Informal training sessions to learn how to use dashboards. Now, again, this is one of those double negatives, right? What should you avoid doing when downloading App Exchange dashboard? So we're looking for something you don't want to do. Something that unambiguously is a bad idea. Informal training sessions to learn how to use the dashboard. I think that's a good thing, right? You should learn. Installing the dashboard in a developer org? Well, I don't know, right? We got to see. Deleting dashboards if they don't fit your needs? Okay, you shouldn't have dashboards if they don't work. Installing the dashboard immediately into your production instance? Uh-oh. Anytime you see something that's like doing something immediately, take a step back and realize Salesforce in no way, shape, or form is going to offer you a question with an answer that's not a Boy Scout answer. What I mean by that is there's nothing in the Boy Scout world where they would say, yeah, just jump into that river. Don't worry about the sharks. Just do it. No big deal. So right away, I do believe D is probably the answer. And also because now that we think about it a little bit more, where is the App Exchange dashboard, right? Weren't they recommending something where we put it into something to test it out? I remember them saying we should test something, so installing immediately is not a good answer. Communicating the availability of the dashboard to stakeholders. No, I'm gonna go with D. Woohoo! So look at that. You've got a nice shiny new badge. Now tell the world about it. How helpful is this badge? So again, this goes back to the support system that we want to build with them. So very helpful. And let's not be shy. Let's go ahead and share it with everyone. I have a Twitter login and now I can tweet it. And remember, we're following people from Salesforce and maybe they follow us back or whatnot. I'm sure this has hashtags because Salesforce is now wants to use us, not use us, but hey, if this person wants to go ahead and share what they have accomplished, let's allow other people to see it and maybe they would like to share it as well. Point being, that support system that we talked about building in Salesforce, now that we start taking action and we're passing tests, that support system starts looking at us like, oh, all right, they're a serious person. Let's, keep up with them. So I guess we could X out of this. They're telling us what they believe is next. All right, so we can go back. We can go back. We can go back. And the next section, and see, nice check mark. How cool is that? Is user creation. Well, I'm gonna actually chapstick because my mouth's getting dry, and I'm going to drink some water. I don't know how professional, right? So let's go. Quiz. What does the what in user story describe? So it's who, what, why. Okay. So let's do this again. What was it? It was I'm the who trying to do what for why. So the what is the feature, so the user's goal. Yeah. So I'm the who trying to do what, right? So that's my goal. And why. Why I'm doing it is a different thing, right? The feature the user needs. The limitations place, definitely not limitations. Nothing's limiting me. The user's perspective. No, because that would be the who. So this is one of those questions that's a little tricky. And if I get this wrong, after saying if I get one wrong, I'm going to be really disappointed. What's one thing user stories help you do? Ensure all specifications and details are listed at the beginning of the project? I think so. Decrease the need for collaboration. Again, this is a Boy Scout question. Salesforce and no major Fortune 500 company will ever give you an answer that is correct, that in the answer is the suggestion is that you should do less work. Yeah, talk to your team less. That's the answer. Never, ever in a million years. So we can take B and throw it out a window. Add restrictions and avoid future mistakes. There's no part of the creative process that you can avoid in the future. So to add restrictions, you don't know what you don't know. So that would not be the answer. Focus on customer and end user success. That's a big deal. What's one thing user stories help you do? So we're looking at A and D. So how do we decide which one? Ensure all specifications and details are listed at the beginning of the project. Well, now we could take a look. Is that a Boy Scout answer? Will you ever know every specification and every detail at the beginning of a project? I don't think so. But if we focus on the customer and end user success, well, then we can build accordingly. So C and D. Now the reason I say all this out loud and share the thinking process is twofold. Kind of making an example, right? Whether you're by yourself or not, you should be doing this, because as you think out loud, as we like to call it, you're exercising your brain. You're exercising the neuroplasticity of your ability to memorize, remember, or logically think through these questions. And in doing so, there will be questions down the road that will require to access that neuroplasticity, which is kind of like a muscle memory, in which case that question is going to be phrased in such a way, or it's going to be patterned in such a way, that by doing it this way, your brain will access back, oh, I remember talking that through, and that led to that, bing, 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 bing. That's how I got this answer. Again, we outline what's important for your company, the key questions you want to answer, and the associated metrics you can track in Salesforce. So I think that's everything. So, well, this is a bit longer. All right, good. There's a question right here. As a sales representative, I need the ability to take ownership of a new lead and document the progress so I can provide consistent insight to my pipeline. Which 3 acceptance criteria are best suited for the user story example? Able to update lead status with new prospecting dead or close, access to opportunity object, assign ownership to yourself. Well, wait a second. I don't remember any of that from any of this. Oh. Is it possible that we went to the wrong one? So user success. All right, so let's go back. I just want to make sure we're in the right place. Okay, so we did this already. We're on this user story creation. Construct a user story. Criteria. I don't really remember any of that. All right, so let's just take our best guess, because maybe, I don't know. As a sales representative, I need the ability to take ownership of a new lead and document the progress so I can provide consistent insight to my pipeline. Which 3 acceptance criteria are best suited for a user story example? Okay, so I'm a sales rep. I want to take the ownership of a new lead, so I'm taking it, and I want to document the process so I can provide a consistent insight to my pipeline. Okay, what 3 acceptance criteria are best suited for the user story example? Able to update lead status with new prospecting dead or close, access to opportunity object. Did we ever even hear anything about an opportunity object? Assign ownership to yourself from the lead queue. I think it says that in the question. We're already assigning ownership. Access to lead object. Again, I don't remember object. Select 3. Oh, we have to. Okay. Assign ownership. Okay, so we have to do that. Lead document website provide consistency. Rate 3 acceptance criteria are suited for the user story. Access to lead object, access to opportunity object. I'm gonna say this and get rid of A. Incorrect. Access to the opportunity object is not applicable to user story. All right, I'm sorry we got that one wrong. Actually, it says try again. Oh, well, there's only one left, so we could do this. Cool. Invest in users. Okay, so let's go down here. What is characteristics of acceptance criteria? What is characteristics of acceptance criteria? Limited to 3 testing statements, answered with only true or false, listed from easiest to hardest, only written in negative phrasing. What is characteristics of acceptance criteria? Well, I believe that question just had 3, right? But limited to 3 testing statements, you want anything that's limited. Answered with only true and false, listed from... Why do I feel like we just did something that wasn't this chapter? Alright, so let's just stay there. Why is it detrimental to use an undefined user as the who in a user story? Undefined user requires multiple user stories. Acceptance criteria for an undefined user requires extra work. Intention of the user can't be clearly defined. Well, if it's an undefined user, the user can't be clearly defined. Sounds like it makes sense to me. User stories aren't meant to be written from users outside the company. So I don't know this one. What is the characteristic of acceptance criteria? Answer. Let's go with that. Oh, we got it. I really don't feel good about what just happened. So I feel like we didn't. Oh, but we're gonna post it, and we got the badge, right? So at the end of the day, don't be too hard on yourself. But I don't know why. Let's see what we got. There's a long section. I really hope we did a good job here. Why should you find ways to empathize with your customers through design research? To convince, now mind you, design research, we're taking the designer curriculum. So design research is that's another way of saying, based on what we're trying to do here, why would this work? Why should you find ways to empathize with your customers through design research? To convince your team that people care about your unconventional ideas? That sounds like not a very good Boy Scout answer. To truly understand your customer and judge if your solution will make a difference in their lives? That sounds like a really nice answer. I almost don't want to read C&D. I'm going to, but to collect evidence that supports budget requests, get out of here with that. Because their lives are super interesting and you could live vicariously through them. No, B is definitely the answer there. What are 3 common forms of empathetic research methods to gain deep insights into your customers? Embodying, shadowing, and interviewing. I remember those. I know phishing wasn't one of them. Online research reports wasn't one of them. Workshops, data mining, and workshops and data mining might be beneficial, but that's not. I don't remember those words, and if I don't remember those words, they're not part of it. Because the key is, again, I went ahead, and I don't mean to say I, but this whole education is based on the fact that you never had to get confused or bogged down with the other words. In fact, these questions and answers are meant that you only know them, and if they are the best questions and answers, then you're learning in the format of the best questions and answers. And like I said, the source of where these questions and answers are coming from are highly, what's the word I'm looking for? You can have confidence in them. Friending them on social media. I don't even want to read that. Okay. Number 3, you should shadow someone to study the person without having to get permission first. Does that sound like something Salesforce wants you to do? Map their digital presence? I don't think anyone wants that. Develop empathy by helping them do their work. Directly observe their behavior in person. Okay. Study a person without giving permission. I think that's probably illegal. Map their digital presence. I don't think anyone wants their digital presence mapped. Directly observe their behavior in person. That sounds like it could be an answer, right? It could be, but is it the best one? Develop empathy by helping them do their work. There's develop empathy on an empathy section, helping, I'm sure Salesforce wants you to help them do their. This is like the most Boy Scout answer I've ever seen. Oh, I got it wrong. Okay. I guess maybe that, because I don't think you're going to map their digital presence. Synthesizing your research may reveal deep insight from your research. Okay. Review diverse quotes and try to rewrite them as one quote that represents everyone. I don't know, maybe. Go to dinner with a friend and role play your subjects to see how your friend reacts. I think that would work, but I don't remember. I didn't read that. List all things that surprise you and analyze why you were surprised by them. I like that a lot. Seek out recurring themes, including pain points, discrepancies between people's perceptions and their expressed reality. I think there's a lot of good answers there. What approach to synthesizing your research may reveal deep insights from your research? So, to reveal deep insights to who when you're the one synthesizing? So I think the only way to reveal a deep insight in a one-person analyst type of thing is to find what surprised you and why it surprised you. Because the deep insight is your insight, right? It's a first person thing. So I think that's it. When capturing and clustering your notes, always capture and cluster alone first, then present to your colleagues for validation. Look for data that confirms or upsets your existing hypothesis. Enlist the help of your interviewees in the process. Sort and discard anything that isn't immediately useful. Okay. When capturing and clustering your notes, I would say capture and cluster alone first. You don't want it interrupted. Look for data that confirms it. No, because you're not doing the data phase. You're just trying to bring it all in very raw. Enlist the help of your interview. No, because you want it to be non-biased. Sort and discard anything that isn't immediately useful. I don't think you discard anything. You just bring it all in and then analyze it afterwards. What is this core difference between archetype and personas? All right, personas have common household. No. Archetypes describe characteristics of a user type, while personas express the personality of a market. I think that might be it. Personas represent demographics and archetypes. Oh, no, that's it. There's no difference. No, we know there's a difference. What is the core purpose of an archetype? To represent behaviors and habits exhibited by a market segment through the design process? To tell stakeholders heroic stories about? No. To avoid leaving clues that might reveal the idea? No. To summarize your findings into one powerful character that anyone can? Maybe. But we know it's behaviors. That's like a keyword we want to... All right, here we go. All right, I got 2 wrong. Come on. What approach to synthesizing your research may reveal deep insights from your research? Okay. I would say maybe this. I guess if you're going to reveal something deep, you want to role play it. Again, I'm still thinking one person point of view. When capturing and clustering notes, always okay. I would say sort and discard then. See what happens. Oh my God, I still got them both wrong. Okay. Let's just... Now we're just looking for any answers. Hey, we got 1 right. Now, which one didn't we do? Okay, of course, the 4th one, right? Only 25 points. All right, we did not do too good on that. We need to go do better in putting those questions together. All right, though, we got the last section. Which of the following is the best way to describe future casting? Predicting the future, envisioning the future we want to create, fishing for future opportunities that give us a competitive advantage, a process that minimizes the sense of urgency, and burning case or change. Definitely not any of the last 2. I think it's... So predicting the future is something different than envisioning the future we want to create. Predicting the future sounds like, what's your prediction? Future casting is a unique word, and I would imagine you're casting the future, right? So envisioning the future we want to create. Number 2, why should you future cast before start ideating? So Salesforce, I think, just makes up a whole bunch of words. We're starting with idea. So I understand the word, but I don't think any of them are real words. And I could be wrong and look like a complete buffoon, but ideating, what? Why should you future cast before you start ideating? To avoid wasting time and resources if the problem won't even exist in a few years, to future-proof your innovation work, to find new challenges to solve, to ensure that you have credibility as thought leaders. Okay, let's read the question. Why should you future cast before you start ideating? Okay, so when you're future casting, right? Like, what's their definition? Envisioning the future you want to create. You have to make sure that the future that you want to create is possible, that it makes sense, to avoid wasting resources. Yeah, you don't. If you're trying to solve, say, global warming 500 years from now, well, will it still be a problem 500 years from now? So you wouldn't start putting ideas in place for that. To future-proof your innovation work sounds like it could be a good answer. I think number one's better to find new challenges? No, okay. Which I find is a good example of an activity that helps you futurecast. Collect the latest weird and wacky cultures. No. Tweet predictions to see if people retweet them or if the press picks them up, maybe. Create mock-ups of future products and experiences, then put them on an e-commerce site to see if anyone will buy them. Yeah, I like that. Attend Burning Man. I don't even know what that is. Tweet predictions. So here's the thing. I also don't think Fortune 500 companies would use verbs from other Fortune 500 companies, right? Like tweet predictions means I would need to know what Twitter is. If I don't know what Twitter is, I need to go to Twitter. Now, whether my experience is good or bad, I don't think Salesforce wants to take on the responsibility that they led me there. So I think C is a better answer, but I also think it's a safer answer too, if that makes sense. Okay. 4, how will you futurecast impact your innovation process? Let's take a step back, futurecasting. So the process of, okay, this is the future I want to create. How am I going to create this? Is how I create it. How does that impact my innovation process? Well, if I have to do this to get there, I'm going to focus here, right? So it will weed out the teammates who don't share our vision for the future. Yeah, it will. It will manage the expectations that you will know the emerging trends even while you obsess. No, you're never going to do that. It will stretch your team to create a bolder and more relevant how might we quest to drive innovation. There was a question on that, and that seems like a strong sentence that they're going to want to include. So we'll keep that in mind. It will find startups that the company should know. It's definitely not that. Okay, how will FutureCast impact your innovation process? It will weed out teammates who don't share our vision for the future, or it will stretch your team to create a bolder, more relevant how might we question to drive innovation. I think C is a smidge better than A, and it also has the benefit of the how might we in it. So I'm gonna go with C. I got the first 3 wrong. Which I find is the best way to describe futurecasting, predicting the future. That was the other one. Why should you futurecast before you start ideating? To future-proof your innovation work. Which of the following is a good example of how an activity that helps you futurecast? I guess B? I don't know. Okay, see, it wasn't B. That's a good thing. Okay, so it's not 1 or 2. Which of the following is the best way to describe futurecasting? Fishing for future opportunities that will give us... Actually, it does kind of make sense on a third go-around. Which of the following is a good example of an activity that helps you futurecast? I don't know what Burning Man is. I don't imagine them telling me to go attend an event. Well, we got it. Okay. So I want to go ahead and... All right, so now we're on to tomorrow, which is... Okay, let's move back a little bit further. So tomorrow is innovation ideation and prototyping, innovation solution, UX research basics. Can we get to that?
In which case, I would never care that anyone did that as long as they're actually learning the stuff, right? So here we go. What is the purpose of the dare phase? To unleash collective creativity, suspend disbelief, and dream up the way things should work. To challenge stakeholders to take smart, calculated risks. To prove that your organization won't tolerate fear of change. To play with 2 canines. Obviously, number 5. Letter D is not it. To prove that your organization won't tolerate fear of change, innovation warriors. I don't think so. To challenge stakeholders to take smart and calculated risk. I do remember them talking about stakeholders. To unleash collective creativity, suspend disbelief, and dream up the way things should work. I want to go with A, I think. Why should you prioritize co-creative activities? People can influence each other to adopt ideas that are politically viable, not just technically feasible. Diverse opinions power new and creative solutions. Now, let me pause there. If you remember yesterday, we spoke about in the art of test taking, Large organizations such as Salesforce have what we call Boy Scout questions. And those questions have such a, well, it has to be this answer because it was just so inclusive. It was so ideal. Diverse opinions power new and creative solutions is a very ideal answer. In fact, we'd be very hard pressed to find an answer that's going to supersede that. That being said, we continue reading the answers, but in the back of our heads, we're now matching out any new answer, competing answer against that. Letter C, people need a break from their normal day-to-day in order to see the light. Naysayers will realize that they are in the minority and there is safety in numbers. I'm gonna go B. 3, when designing ideation workshops, which tactic will enable successful outcomes? Securing the coolest space in your corporate headquarters like the boardroom, inviting only people at the same level. Okay, and here's another thing. There are, on the topic of Boy Scout answers, there's the opposite, answers that are just so against Boy Scout stuff. Inviting only people at the same level, I'm not even sure I need to read the rest of that answer. I don't think a company like Salesforce would ever have an answer that would be so uninclusive of other people. So again, in our head immediately, we're looking at that answer and we're like, don't think it's gonna be you, but let's continue, right? Inviting only people at the same level, holding separate workshops for executives, for middle management, and for everyone else. That seems like a really bad idea. Immersive, when designing ideation workshops, which tactic will enable successful outcomes? Don't ever feel shy to read the question again. Immersing all stakeholders in a process of innovation in which all voices are heard. That seems like the exact opposite of B, right? Like B is the worst answer you could have, and C sounds like it could be the best answer. Ensuring there are no distractions like music, posters, or surprise visitors. Well, we remember reading about surprise visitors and special guests, so that's definitely not it. Securing the coolest space in your corporate headquarters like a boardroom. See, here's and again, I'm very into the art of test taking. Coolest space is a subjective term. A boardroom is an objective answer. You cannot actually grade somebody answering this question. And because you can't grade someone answering this question, you can't grade expecting them to answer this question, right? Like, what if I think the coolest space in a corporate headquarters is the bathroom and you think it's the boardroom? Does that mean I'm wrong because I think differently than you? No. So, all right, let's see what happens. We got all the questions right, which is totally good. We'll take a test. Okay. What can you do to prime your audience to awesome ideation? Supply beverages that amp up your creative mojo, caffeine and sugar. Okay, again, art of taking a test. In no world will a company like Salesforce go ahead and make the correct answer you giving stimulants to anyone, especially when there are those that say, for instance, if you drink decaf coffee, well then you can't have caffeine. So am I supposed to wait, what? Exactly, so that would never be the answer. Start with creative warm-up exercise that get people to think outside the box and have fun. That sounds like a great answer. Start with live music. That sounds like an equally great answer. So now we got to compare the two in a moment. Set ground rules, including the processes and topics that are not up for discussion. That sounds like a good answer as well. So let's go back to the question. What can you do to prime your audience for awesome ideation? Well, if I'm looking for awesome ideation, I wouldn't start by telling them what not to do. Live music, I think, gets people into a good mood. I'm just not sure that it's the shortest path to great ideas. Warm-up exercises that get people to think outside the box sounds like it was custom made for that question. Like this answer fits that question. So let's go with it. How can you inspire your audience to stretch their imagination? Share inspirational stories of innovations relevant to your organization and customers. Share visualizations of your team's best ideas to date to get feedback. Share organizational mythology. I would not do that. Share highlights from your organization's annual report. Okay, your annual report is the most boring thing ever, so that's not going to help your imagination. Share organizational mythology. I don't think organizations have their own mythology. I think if they have mythology, it's called like lies, right? I don't think that's the case. Share visualizations of your team's best ideas to date to get feedback. That sounds really great. Share inspirational stories of innovations relevant to your organizations and customers. So A is sharing stories of innovations that already happened, right? To be an innovation, you had to have been created. And so it's kind of like a resume. These are the things that we made that are really great. And then the visualizations are things that we want to create this in the future and we want to get your feedback. I think wanting to create something in the future equals imagination and getting feedback equals audience. So I'm going to go with B. How do job stories help your team succeed? They define the best job description for the innovation team. They define current features of your product, service, or user experience that are best meeting customer needs. They describe new products or services that will better meet customer needs. They help you embody your customer and understand the situation, motivations, and goals, which will then help inspire new products or services. So here's the thing. I actually forgot what job stories were. I remember that was one of the cards, and this is something you have to watch out for, which is why sometimes you just can't read them quickly. Some cards will be a definition, like an actual term. Now, job stories is a definition. If you don't know what job stories are, you're not going to be able to answer this question because it's not as simple as being a term that A, you already know, or B, that is a common theme with through the course. So now we got to kind of take a step back and try to see if we could find the best answer. How do job stories help your team succeed? They define the best job descriptions for the innovation team. I don't think that's it. They define current features of your product, service, or user experience that are best meeting customer needs. I'm not sure that's an answer. I don't know. They describe new products or services that will better meet customer needs. I'm gonna go with D. It just seems like the best answer. And this very well could be wrong. Well, it was right, but number 2 is wrong. How can you inspire your audience to stretch their imagination? All right, so we thought it was B because we thought that was a better answer than A, which means A is our second guess. All right, so you see we got 50 points because we got one wrong. And category? I don't think so. A low fidelity manifestation of an idea meant to be tested? Yes. The final product of a long R&D process? No. Now also, if you believe the answer C, that does not give you license to not read D. I can promise you 1 out of 10 times, D will be the answer. I don't have the math for that, but I can promise you it has happened. Why should you create a minimum lovable product versus a minimum viable product? Now, before we answer the question, what's the difference? An MLP we're creating a product that has the minimum amount of components for the people that love it to continue loving it. An MVP is creating the minimum amount of components for it to be able to be a functional product. So before we answer the question, or before we read them, why should you create an MLP versus an MVP? Well, let's think about it. If we want to go ahead and continue, say we have a product, a brand or whatnot, and it's known for something, and we want to make sure that the people that really love it continue to believe in what the brand stands for, I think that would be the answer. So again, I don't know the answers. I didn't read them. So you always want to have like a general idea before reading it, because again, there is a certain muscle memory, a neuroplasticity in your brain that as you perform the exercise of thinking, it does remember it. Which is why whenever you take math tests, they always want you to show your work. It's because, not to see if you're cheating or not, but if you don't show your work, you're never actually going to retain the information. Anyways, why should you create an MLP versus an MVP? To truly delight your most loyal customers and ensure immediate adoption versus solving the problems of all your customers who may take more effort to reach. That sounds amazing. To develop the most lovable marketing tactics. Okay, we don't even need to read the rest of that. There will never be an answer from a Salesforce to where marketing and tactics are in the same sentence. That might be what they actually say in the real marketing departments, but they will never allow a consumer to believe that their marketing is tactical. C, to launch with a freemium pricing model, then charge for additional features. That could be an answer. It sounds a little dishonest for no reason, right? Like that is a real marketing strategy, and it's a noble one. It's ethical. Hey, we made this for free, but if you want to opt into the premium things, that's fine. But I don't think you would volunteer that for no reason, right? So I don't think that's the answer. And maximizing the number of initial features will potentially appeal to a broader audience. I don't think that's what MVP is. We're not maximizing, right? It's a minimum. Max and min are opposites. So let's go with A. Which tactics will help you rapidly prototype your MLP? Again, minimum lovable product. Sketch your favorite app, replacing its brand with yours. Is that just plagiarism? No, I don't think that's the answer. List 10 or more must-have features that users will expect in your solution. I think that's a good answer so far. Whiteboard one screen with a few key features and ask ideators to change them with different color markers. I don't think that's a good one. Use visual icons to express functionality, such as a magnifying glass. Now again, functionality would go to MLP, MVP, minimal viable product. So I don't think that's it. When you see list 10 or more must-haves, love and must-have I think are cousins, right? They sound like they would go together, so we're gonna click that. And we got that wrong. You gotta be kidding me. Okay, which tactics will help you rapidly prototype your MLP? I really don't want it to be A, but it might be. Use visual icons to express functionality. Okay, that's definitely not D. Whiteboard one screen with a few key features and ask ideators to change them with different color markers. So maybe that would be it, if we go ahead and put a couple of key features and ask other people to pick the ones that they love the most. Although that's not what the answer says, but I'm guessing that's kind of what they're inferring. Because I really think if the answer is sketch your favorite app, replacing its brand with yours, I just think that's the definition of plagiarism. So let's go with C. Oh my God, it's not that. It better not be A. How is it D? Well, we got our badge, and the one answer we thought it couldn't be, it was. So we didn't get awarded much points because it took us 4 times to get it, but we completed it. So we have a badge, and now we can click this Twitter button, and we can now post on Twitter, hey everyone, we just went ahead and completed this course. Take a look at us. Now again, why are we doing that? It's not that we're saying, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. But if you remember on day 2, we went ahead and built up our support system. And conceivably, we're building it every day. So you always want to add new people in Salesforce and the forums and the communities. You should be working with them. You should be not working hand in hand with them, but like going into the forums and typing in questions. In fact, maybe tomorrow we'll do some of that. But conceivably, you have some people from Salesforce that you're following, and maybe even 1 or 2 follow you back. Maybe you want to go ahead and take this and put a hashtag Salesforce, right? Anything that allows you to be seen as a credible professional within a community of other credible professionals that would equal networking opportunity is exactly what you would like to do in building a support system. And in any endeavor that's new that you're going to be moving into, you want to have a support system. So this allows us to continue building it. And it's not that we're talking to people saying, hey, what'd you have for lunch today? We're saying, hey, look, we're really working. Look at how well we did. Don't you remember when you were like us, right? Because everyone was at this point with you once or twice. Okay, so that's really cool. All right, so next module, innovation solution. Okay, what's our business case and strong stakeholder buy-in? That sounds really good. So let's read the question again. What makes an undeniable pitch for an innovation project? A clear description of the concept, an advanced prototype, a business case, and an implementation roadmap. I think that's the best answer. A customer petition, competitor research, and executive buy-in. Okay, so when you're talking about an undeniable pitch for an innovation project, I almost think when they're talking about executive buy-in, I think that might actually be not the right answer. Executive buy-in almost seems like they want to bait you into choosing that. Because the actual art of a pitch is description of the concept, advanced prototype. This is what we can do, this is what we're going to do, the business case for it, and this is how we're going to get there. In fact, if C is the incorrect answer, I want to call Salesforce and tell them they should reconsider. Number 2, which components should you include in a dream to do framework? A headline from the future, the next step in the transformation, business value and metrics, dreams, goals, and opportunities, people to include on the team and supplies to buy, a customer outreach strategy, advertising concepts, and marketing slogans. So I don't think C is the answer, so you could rule it out right away. Okay, which component should you include in a dream to do framework? Now, do you remember what dream to do was? This is kind of like in our last test where if you don't remember a definition, you're kind of, that's not a good thing. So dream to do was something in the future. We're gonna dream to do it. Dreams, goals, opportunities. I think B is too simple. I don't think you could have well, you could have advertising concepts, marketing slogan. D seems very far down the project exploration. I think a headline from the future, the next step in the transformation, business value and metrics though? Maybe dreams, goals, and opportunities. I'm gonna go with that. If that's not it, I would go with A, but to do framework. Maybe I'm gonna go with A. That's what I'm doing. What should you focus on to create and deliver strong concept description as part of your dream to do sketch? Now, this is cool, right? So I haven't read any of it yet, but in the art of taking a test, when you see the same term is used in 2 different questions, it gives you some insight to what the term actually means. Like what, I can't even think of the word. In what context is it being used? What kind of similarities can the 2 questions tell you, and what kind of differences, contrast can they inform you of? So what should you focus on to create and deliver a strong concept description as part of your dream to do sketch? Make it fun, use lots of alliteration. Make it clear, identify who the concept is for, what it is, what it does, and why it's needed. Make it impressive, use technical and complicated language. Okay, we know C is not it, right? D, make it memorable, perform it with an interpretive dance. You see, when you say make it memorable, that could be it. But when they make a suggestion, perform it with an interpretive dance, I'm not sure you could assume that that is a widely recognized best practice in making something memorable. I think it's a good practice, but maybe you'd want to go ahead and ride a tricycle with a teddy bear on your head, right? Maybe that would be memorable. So A or B, make it fun, use lots of alliteration, make it clear, identify who the concept is for, what it is, what it does, and why it's needed. If we think the answer is B, because make it fun, use lots of alliteration is another recommendation, alliteration equals fun. And I'm not sure you could make that leap. Make it clear, identify who the concept is for, what it is. So if we think it's B, what does that teach us about this question? So which of these allows us to identify who the concept's for, what it is, what it does, and why it's needed? Headline from the future, the next step for the transformation, business values and metrics, a customer outreach strategy, advertising concepts, and marketing slogans. I kind of think D would go with this B. We're just going to give it a shot because I want to say A, but question 3, answer B, is telling me that number 2 is actually D, which it's not. So maybe it was A. It was A. Not always an exact science, but the reason I'm doing this out loud and doing this in real time is that there is an art to taking a test, and this experience that we're sharing, I can promise you, when you start taking these tests or when you go ahead and sit for your examination, you will start dissecting questions and becoming much more cunning, much more witty, much more, what does this tell me? All right, build your business case and roadmap. Price is never going to be an answer, especially for a Fortune 500 company. In fact, they get criticized for managing companies towards stock price for stock compensations and bonuses. Even if stock price was a relevant answer, they don't want to go ahead and create any type of memory to that. They're not trying to point your attention towards stock price. Revenue, cost, and productivity, customer satisfaction, productivity, and strategy. Strategy is not a lever, it's a to-do, right? Revenue, cost, and customer satisfaction are all important, but customer satisfaction is not a lever. Revenue, cost, and productivity would be levers, because these are all things that you can, pull on the lever. You can increase your revenue by doing what? Maybe lowering the price. You can increase or decrease your cost by what? Volume. You can increase or decrease your productivity by like additional labor. So C is something that you can, that are all levers. Which of the following is a likely question your decision maker will have about your proposal? What color will the packaging be? Maybe. What will the return on investment be? Probably. What will you be doing 37 days from now? Definitely not. Who created your graphics? Definitely not. What color will the packaging be? Is probably not something a decision maker will ask, right? So in the hierarchy of those that collaborate to make a decision, you have your individual departments, your department heads, and your ultimate decision maker. In the departments, you would have a marketing department that would likely work through those details, because your decision maker is the decision maker because he's able or she's able to identify top talent in each area, each department, and then be able to bring them together to work as a team. The decision maker, more times than not, is not going to have the highest skill sets in any particular one department. So I would say, what will the return on investment be? What is included in an effective implementation roadmap? Map to the grocery store? We already know it's not it. Inventory of today's capabilities and gaps, calendar of annual meetings and events, schedule of office holidays. That's not it either, so it's B or C. What is included in an effective implementation roadmap? Inventory of today's capabilities and gaps, or calendar of annual meetings and events. Calendar of annual meetings and events is not going to be, because you're not implementing anything with this. These are days that you need to kind of clear your schedule for. So inventory of today's capabilities and gaps, although I'll admit I don't think it doesn't jump out at me as the best answer, but the other three jump out as not the answer. So let's see. Woo! All right, I could dig that. You should make a video only if you launch the end product or service. No. Give a deep dive into the features of your product and service. Okay. A is definitely not it. You don't need permission to record anyone. Even if that were true, that would never be in the answer. You should make videos only if you launch the end product or service. How many teaser videos would... In fact, that's actually impossible, because everyone plans to launch the end product, but if you don't launch the end product, you can't go back in time and unlaunch the teaser video. Give a deep dive. Well, first of all, deep dive and teaser are antonyms, right? They're opposite. Keep your video to 2 minutes or less. Well, that sounds like a tease, 2 minutes or less. What is a valuable piece of advice to embrace as you move into the execution phase? The tough never quit. I like that. It's okay to let go. No pain, no gain. B, left brain and right brain. All right. D, you would need to know biology, right? And this isn't biology. The tough never quit. I like that. What is a valuable piece of advice to embrace as you move into the execution phase? So the execution phase is the part where it's like, okay, now we have to really do it, right? Like we have to not give up. We got to be tough. I really like that. It's okay to let go. I don't think that would be the answer for this. You don't let go at the execution phase. No pain, no gain. I don't think Salesforce wants to go ahead and associate pain with execution, because that kind of brings up like medieval times, right? Like if you're executing on a strategy, I don't think they want to associate physical pain. So the tough never quit, I think, is a good one. Which is the type of innovator we recommend you embody? The innovative dictator, the innovative genius, the innovative grassroots organizer, the innovative slacker. So definitely not D. I wouldn't say B. A genius is an actual technical term. I don't think you could be, you're either a genius or you're not. Like you can't just turn the genius switch. Innovative dictator, I think nobody wants to be associated with dictator. I don't think Salesforce is going to make an answer that the correct answer is the word dictator, especially when you live in the United States of America, which is a democratic country. And if you remember, grassroots is a democratic process. So I'm gonna go with C. How did I get, okay. What is a valuable piece of advice to embrace as you move on to the execution phase? The tough never quit is not the right answer. So here's the thing. It's okay to let go was in 2 of our flashcards. So there is a chance that maybe we just are like mischaracterizing what that means. I just don't think it's okay to let go is what you do in an execution phase. I don't think no pain, no, we're gonna go, it's okay to let go, because it was a couple of key words and it was correct. So what we want to do is make a note of that and go back and create an additional flashcard or 2 on let go and what that phraseology means in terms of Salesforce vernacular, right? Like that's important. All right, next module, build on in the back end so that we can all pass this exam. Question 1. After you've defined your research problem, what's the next thing you should do before starting your study? Decide which people fit into the target user category and start recruiting them? That sounds like a great answer. Check to see if the problem has been researched before and if any information has been collected. I think that's a logical answer. I just don't think that's the correct answer that Salesforce is asking you, especially since the whole section we did was on recruiting. C, pick a research method and decide whether you need to collect either qualitative or quantitative data. Maybe. Start writing a script with questions to ask participants. No. I'm gonna go with A. This whole topic has been about recruiting, and although every answer doesn't need to be recruiting, I think A is the closest one. C is pick a research method and decide whether you need to collect. I don't know. I just think it's A. Which of the following is the best research method to help understand what people do? Behavioral, attitudinal, qualitative, or quantitative? So, qualitative and quantitative. Now, this is an issue with my own vocabulary. I understand the difference between quality and quantity, which would lead me to believing qualitative is more important than quantitative. But is quantitative, am I using that word the correct way? Like for instance, quantum physics is a really, really in-depth topic of quantum physics. So that'd be quantitative, right? I don't know. So I think this is a vocabulary thing unique to me. So I'm gonna go qualitative to be safe, but I'm just sharing with you why I'm selecting it. Which of the following has the greatest impact on your timeline? The number of people on your product team and development team, the number of users who are at remote locations, how many note takers you'll have, how fast you can type, and whether you write or type no. How many sessions you'll have, the duration of each session, and how long it'll take to analyze the data. Which of the following has the greatest impact on your timeline? I would say D, because the number of people on your product team and development team, A assumes that there's a widely accepted calculation. If you have this many people, it equals this much time. And I think that takes away from the uniqueness and individual value. So I don't think Salesforce would ever have that as an answer. B, the number of users who are at remote locations. I think that's kind of the same thing as A. C is how many note takers you'll have, how fast you can type, and whether you write or type your notes. I don't think a company this size would ever compare how fast you can type or write. D seems like the most relevant. How many sessions you'll have times the duration of each session. That's a calculation. I have 10 sessions. This is how long each one is. And how long it'll take you to analyze the data. All right, well, 3 is the only one we got right. So let's go back to 1 and 2. After you defined your research problem, what's the next thing you should do before starting your study? So it wasn't the recruiting thing. Okay. Let's check the problem research before. Pick a research method and decide whether you need to collect data. Okay, so maybe C, because the next question did have qualitative and quantitative in it. So let's see if that's the case. Wait. Okay, so we have to do this one too. So let's go quantitative. Oh my god, we got them both wrong again. If this is checked to see if the problem has been researched by someone else, I'm going to. And then number 2, I'll switch to behavioral. Because again, attitudinal, I don't think is a word. All right, we got 25 points. Whew, that one was tough. And again, like we had said yesterday, so we will have the opportunity and availability to go back through all these tests, find the ones we had gotten wrong, produce individual note cards of them, and add them to our entire note cards, with the goal being that last week we have thousands. All right, here we go. What should you think about when shaping your questions? That participant's compensation is significant and you only interview people outside of their work hours? Yeah, I don't think that's it. B, the aim and scope of your study, what you're exploring, and which people you plan on interviewing. I think that's a good answer. C, each of your stakeholders' desired outcomes so that you can align your findings to them as closely as possible. Yeah, that's definitely not it. D, that you should always recruit the widest possible range of people for your study, even if they're entirely unrelated to the focus of the problem you're researching. No. B, the aim and scope of your study, what you're exploring, and which people you plan to interview. I think that's the best answer. Number 2, what should you think about regarding questions in the different parts of your session? A, you should include exactly the same number of questions in each section and cover different aspects of the same concept or design. B, your introductory and closing should explore the existing workflows, and the middle section should ascertain any weaknesses in the workflow. C, the order of questions has no impact on your study outcome. I don't even need to know what D is. I am not moved by A, B, or C, so I'm already believing D is going to be a good answer. D, the introductory section should cover some background and thoughts on existing workflows. The middle section should delve into detailed feedback, and the wrap-up section should elicit overall impressions and catch any additional feedback. I believe that's the exact definition of the hourglass method, and I believe that's the answer. 3, which of the following is an example of an open and non-leading questions? Of an open and non-leading question. Wait, is that opposite? Which of the following is an example of an open and non-leading question? Okay. Why doesn't this concept provide you with the options that you need? I think that's actually it. You're not leading to any in particular outcome. B, what are your opinions about the concept and options it provides? That's very leading. You're asking for direct options. C, in what way does this concept present the options you need? That's very leading. D, how are the options provided by this concept is significant? Okay, it's A. It has to be. In fact, I'm willing to bet. Well, let me not do that. See? We got it wrong. Okay. Which of the following is an example of an open and non-leading question? Oh, options that you need. Okay, so that is kind of leading, non-leading. What are your opinions about this concept and the options it provides? Well, selecting your opinion. In what way does this concept present the options that you need? How are the options provided by this concept insignificant to you? In what way? In what way does this concept present the options that you need? What are your opinions about this concept and the options it provides? This is tough. They're all open, right? So I get that, but non-leading. So I'm being asked a question that's not leading me to any particular answer. What are the opinions of this concept and the options it provides? What are your opinions about this concept and the options it provides? Oh, James says B. All right, let's go with it. You know, James, you are a star pupil. Which of the following is a good practice when conducting user research? Develop empathy with the participant by sharing your own experience or perspectives? No, I think that's probably leading in bias, right? B, provide immediate feedback and answer to the participant's questions? No, you want to allow them to continue. C, watch the participant's body language for signs of exhaustion or frustration? Maybe. D, if you really need the user's feedback, keep asking the questions until they answer. No. Which of the following is a good practice when conducting user research? I'm going to go with C. Yeah, you want to watch their body language. 2, which of the following describes the Hawthorne effect? You can introduce bias by asking questions a particular way. Participants tend to make minimum amount of effort necessary to complete the study. Observers often change their behavior to mimic that of the participants. Participants tend to change their behavior when they know they're being watched. D, I think, is the exact definition. 3, which of the following is an interviewing best practice? Memorize your questions rather than reading from a script. I think so, kind of, sort of. I don't think they would use the word memorize, but I see where they're going. B, focus participants on the goal they want to achieve rather than identifying any particular solutions. I think that's a good one. I think they actually said that. Don't let silence last too long. I think that's a good answer. Ask for generalities instead of specifics. No, I don't think that's a good answer. So don't let silence last too long, I think is, again, something that's in you. I don't think you could really learn that too much, so I don't think that would be an answer. Memorize your questions. I would imagine Salesforce would say something like rehearse or be experienced, something like that. So I do believe focus participants on the goal they want to achieve rather than identifying any particular solutions. Probably the best answer. Plus, I think that was already in this chapter. All right, woohoo! Okay, cool. Analyze your findings. Analyze your findings. Okay, what is the main objective of collating your results after you have recorded and transcribed them? To pull them together into a spreadsheet across the top row, then enter the user's individual responses in each row. Yes, I think that's it. I think that was that whole color coding thing. Put your user's name on the top row and enter all the respective responses below. Put your questions in the top row and enter all the responses below regarding the user's name. Wait, list your user's name. Put your questions on the top row and enter all the responses below, disregarding. Huh. So it's either B or D. It's just a matter of the importance of the user's name. So according to the example shown, so this is an example, right? So it looks like they have something in the first row, so I'm gonna go with the user's name there. All right. 2, what should you do before you enter your results into a results spreadsheet? Ensure that all your results have been transcribed accurately and make sense. Make sure that there is only one sentiment expressed per person. Ensure that only the positive answers from the more vocal participants are entered into the spreadsheet. We already know that cannot be the answer. D, ensure that only the answers which require further discussion. Nope, that's subjective. So it's A or B. Ensure that all the results have been transcribed accurately and make sense. B, make sure that there is only one sentiment expressed per person. So here's the thing. There might actually be 2 correct answers here, but what is more correct? You need things transcribed accurately. If they're not accurate, then nothing else matters. So I'm gonna have to go with A, although this survey or spreadsheet might, all right, if someone has 2 answers, I think you might wanna keep both answers because you wanna learn as much as you can. So that can be correct, but you have to transcribe it accurately first. So this is a case of what's more correct. Which of the following are good things to look for when analyzing your results? The commonalities across the responses, the differences in sentiments across the responses, only the positive and negative sentiments across the responses, sentiments, positive, negative, or short across the responses, as well as trends, commonalities, and differences. I think it's possible that A, B, and C are somewhat correct, and somehow they just took all of them and combined it into D, which I think might be the answer. Like, you want all of that stuff. Perfect. We are just kicking butt. All right, let's see what the next chapter is. Tell your story with feeling. Tell your story with feeling. And this is actually going to be our last chapter of the day and last test, so I don't know what that does, but just letting you know. Okay, 1. What are the 3 stages of storytelling? The product, the person who decides what will get built or changed. It's probably the person who decides what will get built or changed. Actually, who is a target audience of your storytelling? The person who sells the product? I guess it would be the person who buys the product, right? So we're going to stick with D. Which of the following are critical to framing your story? Knowing your audience, building a realistic universe for your stakeholders, providing detailed citations and footnotes, elaborating on technical specifications. Definitely not C or D. Building a realistic universe for your stakeholders or knowing your audience. So I think knowing your audience, because I remember the part where they were talking about repeating the story to see which audiences react a certain way. So I'm going to go knowing your audience. Which of the following facilitates engagements and provokes change? Removing all emotional content, pairing challenges with solutions, describing the current state without describing any changes, telling your story only once. So we know it's not only once. We know removing emotional content is not going to provoke engagement. Describing the current state without describing any changes, that could be it. Pairing challenges and solutions. Which of the following facilitates engagement and provokes change? This is tough, because it could be B or C, right? Pairing challenges and solutions, like I'm a logical person. If someone wants to get me engaged, if they told me a particular challenge with a solution that I could do, that could provoke change in me. But then again, there might be those other people where if you just sit there and tell them all the things that are going wrong without offering a solution, it provokes them to go up and get out there and do something. I actually think it might be C then, because having a solution doesn't exactly provoke change. It just, all right, we have a solution, so let's get on it. Nope, it might be. So we got that one wrong for those that are just listening and not watching. So we're gonna go pairing challenges with solutions. You know, it was right there for us. Can't catch a break. All right, so we completed this. Let's go and press the Twitter button, which by the way, you can press the Facebook button too. Like, press them both. I'm pressing the Twitter button. I am telling the Twitter universe that I am just earning badges like, you know, I am that great. Cool. Which of these is a principle of the universal process notation? Limit of 5 levels, version control is excluded, view and edit controlled by job title, no more than 8 to 10 activity boxes on a screen. I'm gonna go with D. I think we read that twice actually. What is the hierarchy of a detailed process map? First process, second process, and third process. That sounds way too simple of an answer. Core process, sub-process, and sub-sub-process. Initial process, secondary process, tertiary process. Main process, dynamic process, and supporting process. Now, I don't remember this in our flashcards, so this is an example of one that we want to go ahead and include, so we will. So let's note that. But now, secondarily, let's use our brain. What is the hierarchy of a detailed process map? We know what a detailed process map is. First process, second process, third process is an order. That's not a hierarchy, right? Core process, sub-process, sub-sub-process would fit hierarchy, but is that the best? Initial process, secondary process, tertiary process is again in order. That's not a hierarchy. Main process, dynamic process, and supporting process sounds like, by the definition of hierarchy, the one that makes the most sense to me as the best answer, having not known the answer before, this question. So we're going to choose D. Okay, so we got that one wrong. So if we think, what would be our second attempt? I'm gonna have to go core process, sub-process, again, because I think that's a hierarchy. The rest are orders. Okay, so our second answer was the correct answer, and we were able to answer everything. When should you review your process map with stakeholders? After the CEO has reviewed it, once you have fine-tuned it, as soon as possible, after it's implemented. When should you review your process map with stakeholders? After the CEO has reviewed it? No. Once you have fine-tuned it? Maybe. As soon as possible? I don't know. After it's implemented. When should you review your process map with stakeholders? I actually don't know the answer. I don't know if they just go over my head. I would say after it's implemented. True or false? The first step in creating a process map is to determine what type of process you need. True. Okay, they're both wrong. So obviously, if it's not true, it's false. Once you fine-tuned it, maybe? As soon as possible? All right, we got our butts totally kicked on that one. Users, personas should capture meaningful differences between groups of users. I'm gonna say D. Why would you want to use personas in your organization? They fully represent each individual user. They help you better understand the real people who use your product. They're a helpful way to remember people's titles. They're useful for determining compensation. Again, I feel like I might have to just share the art of test taking. In every question of 4 choices, there's always one that is obviously not the answer. If you do not know which one is obviously not the answer, it says more about your studying, the performance of your studying and how effective it's been. Every question has one that you should obviously know has no chance of being the answer. If you cannot spot that one, read the chapter over, because you do not know enough about the material to even be able to recognize the one that is so obviously not the answer. That being said, why would you want to use personas in your organization? I think it's answer B. They help you better understand the real person who uses your product, or the real people. How should you create personas? By using your intuition to come up with a list of personas and their activities, motivations, and goals. I don't think a customer relationship management software company will ever tell you to use your intuition. It would go against the whole value proposition of having data analytics. So don't think it's by asking team leaders to create a set of personas, by conducting research of your users, by consulting your org chart and creating personas based on roles or teams. By asking team leaders would not be it, because that's unconscious bias that we learned before. By conducting research of your users, that sounds like a good one. By consulting your org chart and creating personas based on roles or teams. I think it might be D, actually. You want to create them on specific roles and teams so that you can build out what that real person is like. I think. If it's not D, I would say C, but I think D is probably the best answer. Which of the following are important principles of the Salesforce personas? They're tied to people's titles and roles. They're based only on the things people in Salesforce platform rather than all their on-the-job responsibility. Actually, so we know B is opposite, because remember, Salesforce personas are different because they take into account more than just the platform. They focus on people's demographic characteristics. They're based on users' goals, motivations, and behaviors. Which of the following important principles of Salesforce personas? I want to say D. They're based on users' goals, motivations, and behaviors. The focus on people's demographic characteristics for C, although may be correct, I don't think it's an answer that Salesforce would ever volunteer. You just wouldn't say the word demographic, because it makes people feel like they're not unique. They're just data. They're tied to people's titles and roles. I'm not sure that that's the right answer. If it's the right answer, then that would be it. But I don't think Salesforce personas are tied to titles and roles. So I'm going to go with D. Why does Salesforce use behavior-based personas rather than demographic personas? So you see how 5 can answer something for 4? So 4, which of the following are important principles of Salesforce personas? Letter C, they focus on people's demographic characteristics. Question 5, why does Salesforce use behavior-based personas rather than demographic personas? So if you thought the answer was C and 4, upon reading 5, you immediately know it's not C. And you now know that Salesforce uses behavior-based personas. So behavior-based is not people's titles or roles. Behavior-based is not only what they do on the platform and nothing off it. Behavior-based is not demographics. Behavior-based, based on users' goals, motivations, and what's that last word? Behaviors. Meaning, question 5 answers question 4. Point being, when taking a test, do not ever sit on one question for like an hour. Move on, because you're taking away from the time that you'll have after the test to actually go through each question and say, wow, question 87 tells me something about question 13. Let me mark that and go back to it. So when you don't believe you know the answer, just mark it unanswered, like that you'll come back to it, because more times than not, a question later on will answer a question earlier on. Okay, so why does Salesforce use behavior-based personas rather than demographic personas? To avoid relying on stereotypes of who might be in certain roles or what perform a particular task in their job. I think that might be it. So it's easier to include photos of real people with personas. I know that they talked about including photos, but I don't think that's the reason. To generate more empathy for users? No. So the personas will remind people of someone they know? No. So we're gonna go with A, to avoid relying on stereotypes. Now again, also with taking tests, there are some answers that are purposely put in there to go ahead and be inclusive or to share values. Remember, it's the company's discretion what questions they want to put. So if a question is, why does Salesforce like lunch? You know, why do they like a ham sandwich for lunch? And one of the answers is, to avoid relying on stereotypes, they believe ham sandwiches are the most inclusive and widely agreed upon sandwich. It might have nothing to do with the ham sandwich, but they wanted to put that in the answer and they want that answer to be correct. I'm not saying that that's this, but when you see an answer start with to avoid relying on stereotypes, it almost doesn't matter what any other answer is. There's never going to be an answer more better, and I know that's not a word, but like a better answer than avoiding stereotypes regardless of what the rest of the sentence says. Now, of course, if I'm wrong about this, I'll eat some crow, but I think A would be your best answer, and I think for those reasons. All right, so let's grade our test. We got 1 wrong. It was number 3. How should you create personas? This was the one that we said if it wasn't D, we believed it to be C, but let's go back through it because maybe we learned something from the other questions. How should you create personas? By using your intuition to come up with a list of personas and their activities, motivations, and goals. By asking team leaders to create a set of personas. By conducting research of your users. And the wrong answer being by consulting your org chart and creating personas based on roles and teams. So I'm going to go with C, by conducting research of your users. And we got it correct, so plus 50 points. I gotta tell you, having 5 questions and getting 4 of them right and then the 5th one on the second try seems like it's worth more than 50 points, but you know, who am I to say that? Next unit, learn about Sales Cloud personas. Let's go to our flashcards. Learn about Sales Cloud personas. Next. All right, let's get started. What are the 5 Sales Cloud personas? Sales leader, deal closer, data expert, pipeline builder, but the delegation of the team would probably be first and foremost. So they would probably be training staff, upselling large accounts, delegating responsibility. I would imagine that type of stuff. So let's see what the question answers are. Manages and trains sales reps on processes and tools. I think that's a really good one. Preps and attends meetings and demos and closes deals. I know there's a position called deal closer, so I would think that's probably him. Views and creates reports and dashboards. Maybe, but I don't think that's the number one thing. Qualifies leads, definitely not. Qualifying leads is the entry-level position on a sales team and maintains and upsells existing accounts. I think A would probably be the most correct. So I do think sales leader maintains and upsell existing accounts, but I think they do that as a function of when a sales team member goes to them, because you have to be able to trust your sales team with their own accounts. But if they're having a difficulty, I would imagine they would go to the sales leader. So I'm going to say A. Who preps and attends meetings and demos and closes deals? Well, I'm going to say deal closer because closes deals, deal closer, but that does not give you license to not read any of the other answers. Data expert? No. Sales leader? No, but keep that in mind. Pipeline builder? No. Trusted advisor? No. So the answer would be deal closer or sales leader. I would say deal closer is more close to being the better answer. What is the most observed behavior of a data expert? Manages and trains sales reps on processes and tools? No. Preps and attends meetings and demos and closes deals? No. Views and creates reports and dashboards? I would say so. Qualifies leads? No. Maintains and upsells existing accounts? No. So we're going to stick with C, views and creates reports and dashboards. Who is the main persona to qualify leads? Case solver, deal closer, sales leader, pipeline builder, team leader. I'm going to say pipeline builder as a function of what I had shared earlier, that qualifying leads is an entry-level position. Entry-level would be responsible for pipeline building because that's a function of, hey, I spoke to 100 people, 10 of them are interested, let me move this to my sales team now, right? So I would say pipeline builder. Which persona spends most of their time maintaining and upselling existing accounts? Trusted advisor, deal closer, sales leader, pipeline builder, team leader. Now, this is one of those questions that gives us cause to pause because we believe that we've kind of nailed all of these definitions, but now this one is obviously a person, and I guess trusted advisor? Because, on first glance, you want to think sales leader, you want to think deal closer, definitely not pipeline builder, but now team leader, what's that? But if you're maintaining customer accounts and you're upselling existing customer accounts, what is the relationship any existing customer is going to have with their representative? What would be the number one characteristic of that relationship? Trusted, right? Because when you start at a business or organization, you meet someone and you develop a relationship, and you only continue that relationship if you trust them, right? You give them the benefit of the doubt in the beginning, and then if you don't trust them, you leave, and if you do trust them, you stay. So when I see existing account and I see the word trusted advisor, it leads to being the best answer to me. So we're gonna press enter. And we got 100 points. We got 5 out of 5. That means we're 9 of the last 10, and the one we got wrong, we got right on the second go around. So we're doing really well. Learn about Service Cloud personas. All right, learn about Service Cloud personas. Let's keep it going. What are the 4 Salesforce Service Cloud personas? Case solver, expert agent, team leader, and service admin. What are the 4 Salesforce Service Cloud personas? Case solver, create a reported dashboard, because not everyone has all the data to be most relevant. So changing ownership of a case, well, each team member, each persona that comes into a case is now the new owner of the case. So presumably their name would be on the case. So changing ownership of a case, not only was it the early favorite, but I think it makes the most sense. Which persona customizes Salesforce? Okay, so which one does this? Case solver, expert agent, team leader, service admin. Okay, which persona customizes Salesforce? So what does it mean to customize Salesforce? To change it, to make it unique and specific for a specific outcome, a specific person, for a specific reason. Case solver is somebody that troubleshoots with the customer, I don't think they customize Salesforce. I think they teach the user. Expert agent. Sounds like someone that could do that. Right? He's an expert agent. Team leader. I think it just trains the team. I don't think they customize Salesforce. And service admin. Service admin, so that's your administrator, and they're the ones that I would say customize Salesforce. The service admin, I believe, would be the person that would, change different buttons, change, the UI, the user interface. So expert agent, I'll say if D is incorrect, but we're gonna go with service admin. Okay, service admin was correct, but which task do all personas perform? Changing ownership of case was not correct. I'm gonna say that's a really difficult one. Which task do all personas perform? Okay, it's either troubleshooting customer issues, customizing and administering Salesforce. I'm gonna go customizing and administering Salesforce because it sounds like a broad enough definition that I just feel everyone probably fits into it, maybe even tangentially. So we're gonna go with B. That's wrong too. So it's either troubleshooting customer issues or creating reports and dashboards. Okay. Whew. Now I believe if we don't get this right, we get no points. So this is kind of like a big deal. Troubleshooting customer issues. I'm gonna go creating reports and dashboards. I just still don't think that everyone troubleshoots customers' issues. I guess, I don't, Yeah, I'm gonna go creating reports and dashboards because I believe every persona has to at least take notes of what they did. That's wrong too! Troubleshooting customer issues. We still got 25 points. All right, so let this be a lesson. I don't know how we would have solved it. I mean, obviously, we're gonna put that flashcard into our set, and that will be our last week test prep set. But that first question was what we call a Boy Scout answer. Everyone troubleshoots customer issues. As much as we wanted to logically go through each individual persona and who does and who doesn't, even earlier we read that there's some of the data team that doesn't even talk to customers. Again, you have to look at it from the perspective of Salesforce. If they want one of their answers to share with their audience that everyone has a hands-on with the customer and the customer's number one, while that all might be true, and to any great organization, the customer is always number one. But is there some roles that probably don't deal with customers? Probably yes. As an answer, does Salesforce want everyone to know that everyone deals with customer issues? Probably yes. So that was an example of threading that needle, and we did not do it successfully. But when that comes up again, you'll have a different thought on it. Next unit, learn about marketing cloud personas. All right, let's go to our note cards. Learn about marketing cloud personas. Okay. The marketing specialist. Now I know what we learned was the marketing specialist wants to improve their role to become marketing manager. In any hierarchy, you would have the lower tier being more boots on the ground, so kind of more pipeline stuff, lead generation stuff, inputting note stuff. So I think that would be a marketing specialist thing. I think a marketing manager would be more delegating the bigger things, which I don't think would result in them being logged into their Salesforce all day. Strategic leader. I don't know. Again, I really don't know the answer. I'm kind of just thinking out loud in terms of what makes sense to me. IT services sounds like it makes sense because IT is IT. But again, IT, actually, I don't think you're in the marketing cloud. I think you're probably in the back end with like wires and servers and stuff. So I'm gonna go marketing specialist. Which one of these personas is directly involved in producing the content of marketing emails? Marketing manager, strategic leader, marketing specialist, designer developer, IT services. I'm gonna say designer developer. Which one of these personas coordinates cross-channel messaging, cadence, and customer journeys? Marketing manager, strategic leader, marketing specialist, IT, designer developer. Okay, I know that we covered this, but I forgot the answer. I kind of want to say designer developer. In which case, number 2 would not be design develop. Which are the... Which one of these personas is directly involved in producing the content of marketing emails? So maybe this would be marketing manager. Or let's go marketing specialist and then marketing managers up here. All right, so this might be a little bit, each one of these questions directly involves the next question because they're all talking about particular roles. So if you get one role wrong, you're automatically getting another role wrong because the role you picked that person in, you're not going to pick another person in, and that person's now in the wrong role. So we're gonna have to double check this before we send it. Which one of these personas is most focused on a marketing strategy? Strategic leader? Sounds like it makes sense, right? Marketing strategy, strategic leader. So we're gonna click that. Marketing specialist, marketing manager, design developer, IT services. Okay. Very clearly, every one of these could be wrong or right, but they're gonna be wrong or right together. So let's go back over it. Which one of these marketing cloud personas tends to spend over half of their 8-hour day using Salesforce? Okay, so marketing manager or marketing specialist. Now the next answer, we selected marketing specialist. So it's conceivable that 1 and 2, one is marketing manager, one's marketing specialist. So let's see which one fits better for the hierarchy of positions. Which of these personas is directly involved in producing the content of marketing emails? So producing the content of marketing emails, is that done at the highest level or the team member level? I think it's probably done at the highest level. I think if it's at the team level, then it could be changed person to person. All right, we're gonna change this. Number 1, we're going from marketing manager to marketing specialist. Number 2, we're going from marketing specialist to marketing manager. Okay. Which one of these personas coordinates cross-channel messaging, cadence, and customer journeys? Design developer, and then last one, strategic leader. I'm so curious to press submit. All right, so we got 2 right. Marketing specialist was the first one, which is great, but the second one wasn't marketing manager, which is interesting because we thought it would be the other marketing position. Unless marketing specialist is 2 of these answers, which would be really, that would be a little sneaky because there is no expectation that you're going to give me 2 questions with the same answer and defining 2 different roles for the same position rather than just taking the opportunity to to test my knowledge about as many positions as possible. So we're going to go off the assumption that that's not the case, because that would be very different than kind of like test taking guidelines, right? So if it's not marketing manager, we know it's not marketing specialist, and we know it's not strategic leader, it can only be design developer and IT services. Now, the interesting thing is number 3 is not design developer because I was wrong. So number 2 can be design developer, and then all of a sudden number 3 could be IT services. But I still don't think IT services does cross-channel messaging, cadence, and customer journeys. I still think that's design developer, but it's not. But this one, so that might be marketing manager because marketing manager is not the answer. So number 2, we're gonna go design developer. Number 3, we're gonna go marketing manager. Bingo. Now, the reason I think this all out loud, it's not by accident. I could obviously edit this out. I sincerely believe one's ability to pass a test is not completely correlated with their intellect. You do have to understand how to take a test. You have to understand from the perspective of the person making the test and from the perspective of how it's crafted, the pattern recognition, and how to allow one question or one answer to help you with another one. As you can see, when we took that section, we were very confused. We read it twice. We got 2 right, 2 wrong. Well, that just means that there's, right? So out of 4 choices, if you get 4 times 4 is 16, so there's 16 possible choices. We got one of them, which meant there was a 15 out of 16 chance that we were going to get at least one of the question 2 or question 3 wrong. But instead, we were the 1 out of 16 that got them both correct. That's not by coincidence, it's by design. In knowing how to take tests, you're able to use the test and use it against itself. So I just want to go ahead and share that because I'm not speaking out loud or thinking out loud for my benefit. Well, I am, right? Because I'm obviously taking the test, but I'm leaving it in this for your benefit. So we do have the luxury to see that results matter. So obviously we don't know the test and we got them right. So from your perspective, hey, this Anthony guy, he might be crazy like a fox, right? So let's just continue. All right, learn about Experience Cloud personas. Learn about Experience Cloud personas. Okay, let's go. Who are site users? Site users are partners that access and configures platform settings. Site user, community manager, site admin, site builder. Which persona manages member access and configures platform settings? I think site builder? But you see community manager, which persona manages member. Members can only be a member of a community. I'm gonna go community manager. It's just, again, it's site builder makes sense to me because I'm building the site. But I guess I would be building it, not managing. So again, this was an example of we selected something, we reread the question, we found words that are synonyms or at least closely related, and we changed our answer. Now, whether that's the right or wrong thing is yet to be seen, but this is how you take a test. Which persona provides member support and manages content in the communities? Okay. So this is where we might actually change number 1. Which persona provides member support and manages content in the communities? I gotta tell you, community managers, much better answer for number 2. And since we selected community manager for 2, it can't be number 1. Which persona manages member access and configures platform settings? Site admin. Originally, I didn't select admin because I'm thinking like back-end administrator in terms of creating different site flows, but even that would be relevant. But site admin meaning this is the individual that has the highest access. He is the administrator of the account, and that person would manage member access and configure platform settings. Number 3, which persona customizes the look and feel of communities? That would be site builder. I don't even need to read the rest. All right, let's see what we got. All right, 100. Woo, woo. All right, this is the last. Which of the following would help you map your users to Salesforce personas? Using your org chart to match people to personas based on their titles, asking your users which persona they like best, definitely not the answer. Polling your users on which activities they do most frequently, asking your user managers to indicate which activities the users do most frequently. No, we're gonna go with C, polling your users, because they just said that to us. 2, using the template as a persona I want to task so that impact. Which of the following would create the most compelling user story for stakeholders? Using the template as a case solver, I want to view the status of a case so that I can make sure there are no more cases that are left being unresolved. That sounds good. As a person who loves using Salesforce, I want to create APIs for data for the Marketing Cloud so that I can develop a marketing strategy. I don't think that's it. As a pipeline builder, I want to have funnel. That's definitely not it. As a design developer, I want to approve content for major companies so that I can assert my authority. That's definitely not it. I can go with A, case solver. Now, B might be correct, but when you start seeing things like create APIs for data marketing cloud, I could develop a marketing strategy, it's subjective. First of all, creating APIs may or may not be the best thing to do. It's also something that we have not been introduced with. And so that they could develop marketing strategy. Is that a good marketing strategy? Do we have to agree with the market? It's just too much subjectivity to the reader for that to be the correct answer. 3, which of the following can help you integrate personas into your design and development process? Tell people how much time you spent mapping your users to the personas? No. Schedule a meeting with your colleagues to introduce the personas and collaborate on writing user stories? That sounds like a good idea. Send everyone an email with persona cards since the value of the personas will be immediately apparent from the cards? No. Make sure everyone focuses equally on all the personas rather than aligning on a primary persona. Okay. How do you make sure everyone focuses equally, right? It doesn't say that in the answer. I would say schedule a meeting with your colleagues to introduce personas and collaborate on writing user stories. See, here's the thing. I don't know which is right, B or D, but I know which one can never be wrong. Like, that's a different thing. I don't think it's ever a wrong answer to schedule a meeting with your colleagues to introduce whatever and collaborate together. When you're a company the size of Salesforce, I don't think there's ever a situation where this cannot be the best answer. Again, if I'm wrong, we'll find out, but I think both could be right, I just don't think B could be wrong, if that makes sense. Which of these decisions would you use personas to support? Deciding who to hire, schedule meetings, prioritizing updates to your Salesforce instance, deciding who to promote. I would say prioritizing updates to your Salesforce instance. Which of these decisions would you use personas to support? All right, we're gonna go with prioritizing updates because some personas might have a need for something and that's the way it works. All right, we got 100. How cool. All right, we're gonna go ahead and tweet this out. Woot woot. All right, so next module, demo storytelling. Story. I'll just kind of open this up a little bit more. Okay. What is the benefit of telling a story during your demo? Stories create emotional connections. Stories take little time to create. Stories are memorable. Now again, in the art of taking a test, there are some answers that just will never be the answer, and not because they're incorrect, but because the company doesn't want to go ahead and portray that they believe that's a correct answer. Stories take little time to create may be true, but what about for the individual where the story takes more than a little time? What does that say about them? Does that say that Salesforce believes that they're not a smart enough person? Because stories should take little time to create. It's fact, it's right in their answers, but it's taking that person more than a little time. The point being, whenever taking a test, not only do you need to know the materials, but knowing the materials is really not even more than, say, 60% of getting a good grade. You have to know who's giving the test, you have to know what the audience is, you have to know the purpose of taking the test, what's to be gained by the test, how many people see the test, how many people have access to the test, and what is the branding of the source of the test. When you put all that together, you realize B cannot be the answer. And if B can't be the answer, then D can't be the answer because D says A and B. Well, what we do know is A is the answer because A is 1 out of 5, right? Now A is 2 out of 5. Now A is 3 out of 5. But we know B isn't the answer. So what we have to ask ourselves is C an answer? Because if it is an answer, then it's E. If it's not an answer, it's just A. Stories are memorable. I believe on any metric, if I were to ask you, tell me the story of the 3 Little Pigs, I think you know it, which means it's memorable. So A and C. What is the benefit of using a persona? It represents your inner personality. It creates a relatable connection with your customer. It explains topics from your own viewpoint. It gets your talk tracked down. It represents your inner personality? I don't think so. Because inner personality assumes that you're fake. You have an inner one and you have an outer one. Companies like Salesforce do not believe that people should hide an inner personality and you need something to access it. That's kind of psychology driven. It creates a relatable connection with your customer? Yes. A persona is something that you create to go ahead and allow the customer to see themselves in a story, because a story creates an emotional connection and it's memorable. See? Now again, we're taking the test for the first time just like you, so we always stand the chance that we might look a little silly by giving our answers and being incorrect. Anything that's over 50%, it's not by accident. Storyboards are used to organize thoughts. Makes sense as well. It's a storyboard. Each slide is part of a story. To organize your thoughts, each slide would be sequential. So we believe C is a correct answer. Storyboards are used during your demo, or storyboards contain demo-ready slides. You know what? I actually forgot that answer. So let me think. So let's put ourselves in the position of somebody that's doing a demo. Our storyboard. Is it used does it contain demo-ready slides? Or is it used during our demo? I believe it's used during our demo with demo-ready slides. You see, B infers that it's there if you need it. A infers you do need it, which means for A to be correct, B has to be correct. But for B to be correct, A does not have to be correct, because B is step 1, A is step 2. So you ask yourself, why make a storyboard if you're not going to use it for the demo? So we're going to say A and C. And if we're wrong, we'll say B and C. What is the first step in outlining your storyboard? Create your slides in Google Slides? No, that doesn't sound like the first step. Draw your story on a whiteboard? That sounds like a first step. Build your demo? How can you build a demo if you don't have slides? Lay out each device in chronological order? So that actually makes sense, but you need to draw it first, right? So A and C was incorrect, so we'll go B and C. And if B and C is incorrect, then it is just C. That's obnoxious. So 2 things are true. 1, it was not an accident that C was in 60% of the answers. We knew it to be correct. But what Salesforce just did to us is something so be prepared for that. A lot of organizations that create tests want to keep you honest. And because up until this point, every one of those multiple choice answers was never just the one, it was always A or B and C, we naturally believe that must be the case. And what Salesforce just did was punish us for believing that, which means the next time we come up to one, we're going to think a little bit more carefully. So what just happened was us, I don't want to say being lazy, right? But we allowed a muscle memory to be the determinant over, unbiased logic. So again, everything is a learning opportunity. And what are we doing? We're taking, chapter test to prepare us for the examination. So this is where you can make those errors. Okay, get started with mobile publisher. Okay. What is Mobile Publisher? It's a personalized portal for Salesforce administration. It's service that lets you create a custom domain for your Salesforce org. It's protocol for authenticating mobile apps. It's a tool that lets admins publish employee and customer apps directly on the Apple Store and Google Play. I think D. If not D, it'd be C, but D sounds like a more full answer. C is its protocol for authenticating mobile apps, which again would be step 2. You have to first allow people to publish it to authenticate it. So I'm going to go with D. What's the advantage of using Mobile Publisher to create branded app for your employees? It can increase Salesforce adoption. It enhances your organization's mobile security. It requires no mobile development expertise. I don't think C would be the correct answer. It requires no mobile development expertise. It's a bit disingenuous, right? Like we just read a whole chapter of things that you're going to need to do. It can increase Salesforce adoption. Again, from the perspective of a company like Salesforce, you want to go ahead and put in front of everyone's mind, yeah, Salesforce adoption, Salesforce adoption. It enhances your organization's mobile security. Do you think in any world Salesforce would not allow that to be a correct answer? So A and B sound very correct. If we even thought C could be correct, there is no choice for A, B, and C. There's a choice for A and B and A and C. So we know A is 60% of the right answer, so we know A is it. But so we don't make the mistake of last time, is B equally as correct? Can it enhance your organization's mobile security? Of course. In no world will Salesforce punish you for selecting that answer. So let's select A and B. All right, well apparently in this world they do want to punish you for selecting that answer. Unless we just did what we did last time. What? How is B not the right answer? Okay, so let's take a step back. So it's not B and it's not A and B. A is still 60% of the answer, and C sounds like it can't be it, so let's just go with A. Okay, we are just getting pummeled on this one. So it'd be either C or A and C. Are they really going to make me select it requires no mobile development expertise? And if that's the case, then Salesforce is, I don't want to say disingenuous, but they're really trying to let you know, hey, listen, you don't need any expertise. We're going to do it for you. So A and C? Yeah. What is the first step to take when you want to create a branded app? Create your branded assets, optimize your app and test your customizations, hire a designer, research the guidelines for App Store and Google Play. I believe hiring a designer is what they cited first. Yeah, I'm almost certain. Which elements can you brand in a mobile publisher app? App icon, launch screen, record details pages, A and B, or A and C. So we know you could do the app icon. We're absolutely certain, and it happens to be 60% of the correct answer, so we know A is it. Now the question is it A and B, A and C, or just A? Launch screen. What elements can you brand in? I don't think you can publish a launch screen. That's Salesforce. C, record detail pages. I don't know. I'm gonna say A and C, and if it's not A and C, I'm gonna go with just A. Salesforce managed distribution type uses whose developer account to publish apps? Salesforce developer account, we know that. Customer managed distribution uses your developer account. Salesforce managed distribution uses the Salesforce ones. All right. 4, what's included in your mobile publisher project? An Android app, an iOS app, a Windows app and an iOS app, an Android app, and an iOS app. We saw nothing of a Windows app. We know Android, we know iOS, so it would have to be Android app and iOS app. Okay, we got the first 2 wrong, the last 2 right. What's the first step to take when you want to create a branded app? I guess research the guidelines they're going to make us select, but they did say hire a designer first. Which elements can you brand in a mobile publisher app? So we're going to go with just app icon. And they're both wrong again. I guess create your branded assets, because you can't optimize your app if you want to. It's first step to take when you want to create a branded app. I guess create branded assets, right? And is this going to make us select A and B? Because we know A is the case. All right, we are getting our butts kicked as of late, but again, we're still passing them. And just as a, and obviously we know this from last week, but we also take inventory of all the questions that we're missing and we add those to the flashcards that we currently have, which means by the last week, which is exam preparation week, which is next week, not only will we have all the flashcards that brought us success, but we will have the flashcards that are going to make up for the questions that we missed. Those two together, which is why you go through the whole process, ensures that as long as you know your flashcards, you will know every answer to the test. The question then becomes, well, if you can go ahead and pass the test, does that qualify you? The app gets lonely without it. The package includes a design template for your app. Your app can't function properly without the managed package. The package includes a design template. I believe your app can't function properly without the managed package. When the beta version of your Android app is available, who receives the notification email? All of Google's public beta testers, everyone at your company, you and the person you designated as your organization's internal beta tester, your IT team. It is you and the person you designated as your organization's internal beta tester, hence the highlight of Dreamhouse Realty's beta tester. After your beta tester installs the beta version of the app, what can they test? The security of the mobile operating system, the visual appearance of the app, the functionality of the app, the response time for different tasks. The visual appearance of the app, the functionality of the app, the response time for different tasks. So what they can test is the functionality of the app. The visual appearance you can't test, that's something you observe. The security of the mobile operating system, you're unable to test that because it's in a confined beta testing. And the response time for different tasks, I suppose you could, but that would also be functionality. What happens when you approve an iOS branded app in Salesforce? Salesforce submits the app to the App Store for final review. The app is immediately released on the App Store? No, because they need a final review. Salesforce updates the managed package? I don't think so, because that's something you uploaded in the beginning. The app is archived? No. Salesforce submits the app to the App Store for final review. All right, we got 3 right, 1 wrong. After your beta test installs the beta version of the app, what can they test? The response time for different tasks, I guess? Not that either. Well, it can't be the security, so the visual appearance of the app. Can't catch a break. So close though. All right.
Next, the navigation bar. It's easy to switch contacts with the app launcher. Lightning apps give users access to the items, objects, and pages they need most. That's all of the above, I would say. Just check the A part records just to be sure. Yeah, access recent records and list. Quick, sounds correct. I don't want to mess up like in the last quiz where I lost a couple points because I was too quick. Number 2, what can you include in a Lightning app? Trailhead modules, custom sound effects and flashing text, web tabs, standard and custom objects, and utility features like lightning voice. That would be C. Trailhead modules is what we are going for through right away. Custom sound effect and flashing text. No, there is none of that. This GIF can apparently be animated, but that's about it. And number 3, what's a good way to optimize an app for your users? Brand the app with an animated GIF and neon colors to get their attention. Put the highest priority objects and tabs first in the navigation menu. Have a developer code in a set summertone sound effect that plays for every error message. Add every object in the org to the navigation menu. So that would be B. Put the highest priority objects and tabs first in the navigation menu so people can find it. Check the quiz to earn 100 points. So let's hope I didn't mess up everything, but everything sounds like common sense so far. And We got the 100 points, and let's tackle the next unit. 100 points. With a page layout, you can control whether a user sees related or details pages, a field that display in the highlights panel, which fields list links and buttons a user sees on related details and edit pages, the size of the margins of the page, all of the above. I would say C, but let's see. Fields, lists, and links and buttons. It's not really highlights. Okay, so that is just for the classic UI, apparently. Size of the margins, definitely not. I don't think we can select whether a user sees related or details pages. That should be for something somewhere else. So it looks like we should just stick to C. When you modify page layouts, make this a bit larger, you can change whether a field is required, change the order of the field on the page, assign custom page layout to different user profiles, arrange fields in logical sections, all of the above. Logical. Yes, you can. So let's make this all of the above. Where do the fields and sections from a page layout appear when you view a Lightning Records page? Fields and sections. fields should be under details. Section. Can I drag a section? I can drag a section there. Didn't really do that, but it's under the details tab. Let's do this quickly so we can see. Oh, okay. Interesting. New section, quick save. And let's see how that looks like here. Didn't really do anything. Just yeah, new section. Okay, alright. It's there, so we can put something in there. Blank space. Quick save. Yeah, here we have the new section. Okay, it's under details for sure. Sorry for me taking my sweet time here, but I don't want to lose points. So let's check the quiz to earn 100 points. And we got everything right. That's great. So let's take a...
All right. Let's go ahead and jump into the quiz. Obviously, we followed along, so we're very aware of not only what the answers are, but how we got them. So, again, everything with moral and ethics is okay. So I believe it was C, E, B, right? And let's just double check. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get our 100 points. I would say you activate the potential relationships to make your business stronger. Which mindset involves being vulnerable, recognizing our mistakes, and repairing our relationships? Empathy, courage, intention, compassion, trust. Being vulnerable, recognizing our mistakes, and repairing our relationships. I would say courage. Empathy is when you're understanding what the other person is feeling. Compassion is when you're being extra loving to a need of another. Trust is when you're believing in someone. Intention, I don't actually know how they're defining it, but courage makes me feel okay about this answer. All right, cool, and we got it all. Let's go ahead and make sure we post. And give me 1 second to look at my phone. And we are good. Sorry about that. Like I said, when you have two kids under 16 months and your wife texts you, you gotta look at the phone. Okay, next module, design thinking for sales. Design thinking for sales. Okay, what is design thinking? Design thinking is a creative problem-solving process used to find novel solutions. What are 3 core principles of design thinking? The 3 core principles of design thinking are desirability, feasibility, and viability. What is the best use for innovating a software feature for design teams? A or C, a way to create solutions that are aesthetically pleasing, a creative problem-solving process used for innovating. I'm gonna go C because it sounds like a better answer. What are core principles related to design thinking? Seek a deep empathy with end users, test solution ideas rapidly, draft a robust business case and immediately execute. And then D is A and B and E is B and C. So B is 3 of the answers. What are core principles related to design thinking? Test solution ideas rapidly. By the nature of taking tests, when it's 60% of the possible answers, you would have to assume it's correct. At that point, you have to then look at A or C. A is to seek a deep empathy with end users, and C is draft a robust business case and immediately execute. I don't think drafting anything and immediately executing is ever going to be a good answer. So, with the notion that B is definitely an answer, I think A, seek a deep empathy with the end user. I actually thought it was a better answer. So I'm gonna go A and B, which is D. And let's go into some questions. True or false, CCD only works for B2B companies? False. Know the customer refers to what? Researching a customer to orient to their business, finding ways to walk in the end user's shoes, showing genuine interest in the customer business, building a social network composed of all the customer's employees. A, researching a customer to orient to their business. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, let's go post that because we need to let Twitter know that we are just kicking butt. Send it out. All right. Ethics by design. Ethics by design. What is ethics by design? Ethics by, oh my God, 4 times in a minute. Ethics by design is the concept of designing, developing, and using technology in an ethical and humane way, with the intent to maximize positive impact and minimize any potential negative effects. What are the results of the Salesforce research team survey in 2018? 90% of consumers believe companies have a responsibility to improve the state of the world. And 86% of consumers are more loyal to ethical companies. What do employees want from their companies? During product design, development, and delivery is an important step in an ethics-defined approach. It's impossible this would be false. Do you think Salesforce would ever say it's not important to recognize ethical risk? That would never happen. All right, 100 points. Great job, everyone. Meet the Office of Ethical and Humane Use of Technology. Okay. What is the Office of Ethical and Humane Use of Technology at Salesforce? The Office of Ethical and Humane Use of Technology at Salesforce is responsible for understanding the direct impact of Salesforce products on the world and what relevant guardrails should be put in place for customer use, embedding ethics into the product design and development process, and advancing the field through multi-stakeholder dialogues and partnering with organizations to ensure a better path forward. What are the core values of Salesforce? The core values of Salesforce are trust, customer success, innovation, equality, and sustainability. What are the guiding principles of the Office of Ethical and Humane Use of Technology? The guiding principles of the Office of Ethical and Humane Use of Technology are human rights, privacy, safety, honesty, and inclusion. What is ethics by design? Ethics by design is the intentional embedding of ethical and humane direct impacts of our products on the world, embedding ethics into product design, development, delivery, creating an office for ethics in each region of the globe. I'm going to say A and B, and actually D is A and B. Which of the following are ethical differentiators? The focus on building trusted AI, regular lunch and learns on way to incorporate corporate social responsibility, Responsible tech development during times of crisis. I want to say A and C, and A and C is an answer. Mind you, A is 60% of the answers. We don't think B is an answer, so if E is wrong, we will switch to A. But we have 100 points again because we are just that cool. Incorporate ethics by design concepts. Okay, here we go. Last section. What is consequence scanning? Consequence scanning is a process developed by Everyone that allows companies to systemize their approach to measuring the potential ethical impact of product. All right, we see B is 60% because it's also in D and E. So the question is A or C? A, it purposely inserts friction into the product development process. C, it offers innovative scanner technology through the use of AI and crisis management software. I'm not going to say C. I know it's B. The question is it A? So consequence scanning workshops, it purposely inserts friction into the product development process. Usually that wouldn't be a good answer, but in the product development process, you do want some time to kind of slow down and understand what you're doing and be sure of it. So you kind of would actually want some friction. So I'm going to go A and B. But that might not be a popular answer, so it may be B, and we'll take a look. How does consequence scanning help teams get started in ethics by design work? It gives them a reason to outline their plan and deadlines. It prompts them to think beyond immediate impact to consider how communities might be affected. It helps them think through a more waterfall versus agile approach to project management. It enables them to talk and brainstorm freely without the pressure of taking notes or clarifying suggestions. How does consequence scanning help teams get started in the ethics of design work? I think B, it prompts them to think beyond immediate impact to consider how communities might be affected. And 100% again. We did really well today. I gotta tell you, we are just cruising. And you know what? We actually were able to get it done in 40 minutes. 97 flashcards, and what's that?
Quiz. A dashboard is a list of records that meet the criteria you define, a visual display of key metrics and trends for records in your org, a list of key tasks to be completed in your org, a view of your computer's memory usage. I would say B. A report determines which fields and records are available for use when creating a report, who can access the report, the data range used for the report, colors available in a dashboard. I would say A, which fields and records are available for use when creating a report. But let's have a look. The report type determines which fields and records are available to use when creating a report. Just double check the first one, and that should be it. And 100.
All right, that worked out pretty well. So let's go ahead and take that off main screen. And I believe the answers were B and A. So let's go ahead and just fill them in. And again, we just watched the whole thing, so it's not like we're taking it, we're following along. Right, so the next one is create reports with Report Builder, which will be a
Actions, custom visual force buttons, Canvas apps, all the above. Now, the interesting thing about an all the above button is all you need is 2 to be correct, and then automatically the other ones are correct. I know custom visual force buttons is 1. I did not read anything about Canvas apps. I think I might have seen related lists, and I think I might have seen actions. 2 halves equal 1, 1 plus 1 equals 2. Let's kind of go with that. Which part of our record page is customized using a compact layout? So before we do that, let's take a look at the question again and then look at the first question. Which part of our record page is customized using a compact layout? The first question is, you can customize Lightning Experience record pages using which page layout elements? Which part of the record page is customized using a compact layout? All right, so not too related. The fields under the Detail tab, the fields in the Highlight panel, the related lists, the actions in the Highlights panel. What part of the record page is customized using compact layout? I think it's the fields in the Highlight panel. All right, we are kicking butt. And just in case anyone's curious, again, there is a science to taking a test. That first question, all you needed was 2 to be correct for E to be the automatic one. Because we knew 1 was correct and the other 2 we were half and half on. Well, if you are 50% display in this area of a records page, the Highlights panel, Related List, the Actions tab, the Chatter tab, all of the above. Here we go again. Actions display in this area of a records tab. Okay, so we have a record, it's the tab, these are the actions that display in it. Related List, Activity tab, Chatter tab. I'm going to go all the above because I think Activity and Chatter tab are both going to be in this area. And the other 2 seem Highlights panel, Related List. I'm going to go with E. The order of actions on a record homepage is based on the order of the fields of the object's compact layout, which actions are present in the Chatter publisher, the order of the actions on the object's page layout. They're randomized every morning. Definitely not D. The order of actions on a record homepage is based on, I think it's the order of the actions on the page layout. Because the compact layout is a derivative of the homepage. Definitely D is not the answer. They're not randomized. Which actions are present in the Chatter publisher? Don't think that would be it. I'd go with C. And we just kick so much butt that it is insane. So let's go ahead and tell the world. Come on, world, we're trying to tell you. Okay. So now we're going to move on to the next topic, which actually is a module, which we have videos for, but yesterday's videos really left something to be desired. So I kind of want to see what this is all about, and maybe we could just get through it ourselves. Okay. So this looks like it's just a quiz. But we let me see how many of these are just the quizzes. Okay, number 2 is hands-on. Number 3 is hands-on. Number 4 is hands-on. And number 5 is hands-on. So number 1 is a quiz. So let's actually just do this and then we'll watch the 4 videos. Get started with Lightning App Builder, learning objectives. After completing this unit, you'll be able to understand how the Lightning App Builder can help you build responsible apps and custom pages for Lightning Experience in a mobile app. Understand the layout of the Lightning App Builder user interface, and describe the difference between Lightning Page and a Lightning component. Meet the Lightning App Builder. Your users are busy. They're closing deals, providing top-notch service and marketing to your prospects and customers. By creating customized pages, you can put key information at your users' fingertips and provide them with the easy interface to update and add their records. The Lightning App Builder is a point-and-click tool that makes it easy to create custom pages for the Salesforce mobile app and the Lightning experience, giving your users all they need in one place. But that's not all. When you edit a Lightning app from the App Manager and Setup, you you're brought into the Lightning App Builder to manage the app's settings. You can update the app's branding, navigation, options, and manage the Lightning pages assigned to the app in all the Lightning App Builder. In this module, we'll be exploring Lightning page creation. How the Lightning App Builder works. With the Lightning App Builder, you can build single-page apps that drill down into standard pages, dashboard-style apps such as apps to track top sales prospects or key leads for the quarter, points apps to solve a particular task such as an expense app for users to enter expenses and monitor expenses they've submitted, custom record pages for your objects tailored to the needs of your users, custom home pages containing the components and features that your users most need. Now, a Lightning App page is a custom layout that lets you design pages for you and your Salesforce app or Lightning experience. A Lightning page is composed of regions that contain components. Now, here's a sneak peek of one of the pages you're going to build. So take a look around. Now, you'll see the structure of the page adapts to the devices it's viewed on. The template you choose when creating the page controls how to display on a given device. The Lightning Pages template divides the pages into regions. Lightning components. A Lightning component is a compact configurable and reusable element that you can add to a Lightning page in the Lightning App Builder. Lightning pages support these components. Standard components, which is a component that Lightning components built by Salesforce. Custom components are Lightning components that you or someone else have created. Now you can configure these custom Lightning components to work in Lightning App Builder as well. And third-party components on the App Exchange. The App Exchange provides a marketplace for Lightning components. You can find packages containing components already configured and ready to use in Lightning App Builder. And here's the Lightning App Builder user interface. You'll see header 1 is up here. When you're working on a Lightning page, the header shows you its labels and contains page lists where you can see the last 10 pages you've modified. You can also return to setup without saving or view more information in Lightning Builder. If you're editing an app, the header also shows the app name and contains an app settings tab where you can configure the app's options such as branding, navigation, and utility bar. In an app context, the pages list shows all active Lightning pages associated with the current app. Now, 2 is over here. This is the toolbar. Use the buttons in the toolbar to cut, copy, paste page layout and to undo, redo, save, or activate your Lightning page. You can also view your page in different formats to refresh the canvas or adjust the canvas size to fit the view. And number 3, you'll find right over here. These are your components pane. The components pane contains all standard and custom Lightning components that support your Lightning page. Click and drag, configure it to add it on your page. Number 4 is Lightning page canvas. So here you go right here. That's the canvas where you build your page, direct components to reorder them on the page. And then number 5 is your properties pane, all the way on the right-hand side. That's depending on what you select on the page. The properties pane shows either the overall page properties of the properties or the component that you've selected. Click page in the breadcrumb to access the page properties when viewing a component. Lightning page types. You have the app page, where you use an app to create a home page for a third-party app that you could add directly into Salesforce mobile app and Lightning Experience navigation menus. Your users then have an app homepage where they can quickly access the most important objects and items. You have a home page where you could create the home page with features relevant to specific types of users and assign the customized pages to different apps or app and user profile combinations. Custom home pages are supported in Lightning Experience only. And then you have your record page. With a record page, you can create a customized version of an object's record page, tailoring it to users' needs. Custom record pages are supported in Lightning Experience and the Salesforce mobile app. All right, that was fun. Let's answer some questions. A Lightning page is a compact, configurable, and reusable element. A custom layout for creating pages in Lightning Experience and Salesforce mobile app. The new name for Salesforce page layout. A page you can access via customer community. Custom layout for creating pages in Lightning Experience in the Salesforce mobile app. We just did that. What can you build with the Lightning App Builder? At-a-glance dashboard-styled apps, apps optimized for a particular task, simple single-page apps with drill-down capability, all the above. All the above. All right. So now we're going to go into what we can spend some time watching. So I'm going to take these headphones off.
Okay, What aspect of systems design allows you to build for multiple uses, viewpoints, and structures? Accessibility, durability, scalability, or clarity? The answer is scalability. In systems design, the most important relationship is the one between which two entities? System requirements and user requirements, individual elements and overall user experience, user-centered thinking and user-centered design, micro patterns and macro patterns. I believe user-centered thinking and user-centered design. You know, of course that would be the wrong answer. Now, here's the thing. Micro patterns and macro patterns, we had read that. System requirements and user requirements. Individual elements and the overall user experience. I'm thinking overall user experience. Okay. That was one of those things where the answer was kind of in the question and we should have paid attention better to that. Okay. Apply systems design principles. What is an affordance? An affordance is a part of an element that people recognize and associate with the actions they use. Or recognition. Recognition. When considering how a button relates to the rest of an established design system, what must you consider? Hierarchy, color palette, macro and micro patterns, geometric shapes. When considering how a button relates to the rest of the established design system, say hierarchy. Or no, design. Huh. Important bunch of our design systems. This button was added. Blah 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 blah. Create a new button element when designing a button. For design system, first goal is to understand the types of actions required across Salesforce. If you design button in one section, similar. Okay. Say geometric shapes. Of course not. Color palette. Of course not. Hierarchy. I really feel like, well, we chose hierarchy in the beginning, but then changed it, which is always, I would say true, but since we're, having so much success just looking it up, Okay, let's go to the next flashcards. Document design guidelines and specifications. What is the most common interaction state? Default. When should you document design specifications? After completing a design, when you are ready to hand off the design to an engineering partner. What are do's and don'ts? Do's and don'ts are an effective way to communicate rules and provide an example of what to do beside an example of what not to do to help readers absorb rules quickly. What are the 6 most common interaction states? Default, focus, hover, disabled, pressed, active. What are design specifications? Design specifications document the size, color, typography, and interaction values of a design so that the engineer can use those values in the code. What is an interaction specification? An interaction specification provides the values inputted when a user uses the elements you are designing. How can users interact with your design? They may be a keyboard user and tab over to your element, a mouse user and move the cursor to your design, or a touchscreen device user and tap the element with their fingers. What is the purpose of Web Content Accessibility Guideline, WCAG? The purpose is to make the web content more accessible to all people. What are design pattern guidelines? Design pattern guidelines describe the usage of macro workflows and micro interactive elements such as buttons and inputs. What are foundation guidelines? Foundation guidelines define the visual style of an app, including details such as layout, typography, color, illustration, iconography, kinetics, and branding. Okay, let's go into some questions. Which two interaction states are most similar? Focus and default, pressed and active, hover and focus, default and pressed. I don't like pressed being two different ones, and default for that matter. Actually, all of them, so I'm going to go hover and focus. True or false, web accessibility guidelines permit the use of color alone to convey information. Design specification document size, color, and typography. Interactions of the engineer can use values in the code. Design spec for abstract elements such as color values. The interaction is defined. That's not what I'm looking for. Information conveyed with color through another visual means ensures that who cannot see color can still perceive. Color change. Tells us to make sure states are never indicated by color alone. So false. All right, we got a colleague calls with some information that you need for an upcoming presentation to your manager. What's the best way to create a note to save the details for later? Send a note to yourself in email. Quickly save the changes to your opportunity, then switch to Notes homepage. Continue editing the opportunity while you select a new note from the Global Actions menu. Save the changes to your opportunity, then select New Notes from Action Global menu. So I'm going to go continue editing the opportunity while you select a new note from Global Actions menu. A, I believe we just learned that to be the answer, but B, if you were studying just how to take a test, it is the simplest answer. It's the only one that allows you to continue what you're doing while simultaneously doing something else. And in a company like Salesforce, they're not going to allow an answer to be a better answer than what they actually do in real life. Like for instance, I don't think Honda would ever ask you what is the fastest car and then put in the answers Lamborghini, because that would tell the user, hey, what are you doing here? There's a better way, and they don't even know how to do it. And everyone loves Honda, but they're not known to be the fastest, so that's not a shot at Honda. On the redesigned Lightning Experience homepage, what can you use the assistant to do? Keep track of closed and likely to close opportunities for the current quarter. See opportunities with no activity in 30 days. Place an outline order for more coffee beans for the office kitchen. Schedule meetings with customers. A and E. Okay. I mean, A and C is E. Keep track of closed and likely to close opportunities for the current quarter. Yes. Now we gotta wonder, is C an answer? Place an online order for more coffee beans for the office kitchen. On the redesigned Lightning Experience homepage, what can you use the assistant to do? Schedule meetings with customers. I know A is an answer, but I don't know if, can you order online for coffee beans? Let's go look it up. The assistant shows you things that you need to address, including leads assigned to you today, opportunities with overdue tasks, opportunities with no activity in 30 days, opportunities with no open activity, overdue opportunities. Wow. Hold on. Yes, so actually we were wrong. It's B. What can you use keyboard shortcuts in Lightning Experience to do? Select an item from the navigation bar, get help, open the app launcher, select a filter on Files Home, initiate a search. I believe initiate a search. No. Select an item from the navigation bar. Let's see. Okay, keyboard shortcuts to speed up common tasks. Close or deselect a window, edit, insert quick tasks, open or close macros, open or close notes, post to feed, save a record, search, show shortcut menus, navigation. So these are all different things from what can you use? Oh, you can initiate a search. What can you use keyboard shortcuts and Lightning experiences to do? All right, initiate a search. All right. And I'm going to have a sip of water real quick. Draft activities, A and B, or A, B, and C. I don't think you could view draft activity. I don't think that's an actual thing, but let's just see if it comes up. Yeah, it's not even, I think they just made that word up. Which actions can you complete on the task homepage? Edit existing task, create new task, mark task as complete, sort task by due date. Which actions can you complete on the task homepage? I think it's A, B, and C. I don't think you could. I think they're already sorted by due date. 3. As a standard non-admin user, which other calendars can you see on your calendar? As a standard non-admin user, which other calendars can you see on your calendar? All calendars for users in your org, any calendar that's been shared with you in your org, calendars for anyone below you in the management hierarchy. That will never be an actual, well, maybe it would be. Calendars for all customer contacts in your org. As a standard non-admin user, which other calendars can you see on your calendar? All calendars for users in your org? I don't think that would be the answer. Any calendar that's been shared with you? Yes. Calendars for anyone below? I'm gonna go B. I know this kind of wants me to do A, C, or E, which is A and C, but I don't know. What are 2 options for creating and sending emails in Lightning Experience? From the home page and Global Actions menu, from the Activity Composer on a record and Global Actions menu, from the task list on the Records Action menu, from the calendars and the home page, from the home page and the task list. No, we just read it, Activity Composer. How cool is that we knew that was B? That is awesome in Lightning Experience. So wait, what is that? The global search drop-down menu? So I think we just click into the global search box. Okay. How can you refine search results and accounts and files in Lightning Experience? Apply filters to all searchable objects, sort account and file search results, type limit search to in the global search box, sort search results and filter results for accounts and files. How can you refine search results for accounts and files in Lightning Experience? Apply filters. Okay. Type limit search to, okay. So the 2 answers we clicked was filter and the next one was sort, but we did not see that D was filter and sort. So when the first one was wrong, we were quite confused when for our second choice, when that one was wrong, then we realized there's one that actually had both of them in it. So it's always a good thing to read all of the answers fully. Okay. And I believe this next section is going to be the one with hands-on, but I think field level help is the answer. But let's double check. Okay. Prompts and popovers was the correct answer. Okay. Promote feature adoption and discovery. What are the 3 types of prompts? Floating, targeted, and docked. What type of prompt is best for driving users to a resource? Floating or targeted? What type of prompt stays in place as a user navigates through an app? Docked. When is a prompt the right type of in-app guidance for a scenario? When you have something short and helpful to say, or when you want to quickly call attention to something new, interesting, or important. What are the benefits of a walkthrough? Unique hands-on learning encourages users to take the time to complete all steps and provides a step-by-step guided experience across a single or multiple pages for in-context learning. What type of prompt has all the benefits of a floating prompt without being confined to 9 placement positions? Targeted. In 1 of 6 positions, and first of all, it's 1 of 9, and it does stay, it stays put. Okay, so number 1 is D, A, and B. We thought it was E, B, and C, and then we switched our answer, and we did not do well. Okay, let's continue. Enable users to learn in the flow of work. What is learning paths? Learning paths are a customizable way for companies to equip their employees with just-in-time personalized learning in the flow of work. Where can learning paths be found? Learning paths can be found in the Guidance Center panel in the Salesforce global header. How can learning paths be customized? Learning paths can be customized by adding trailhead modules, linking out to resources such as wiki or video, assigning content to the entire organization or specific users and teams, or on the pages they interact with most. What are some examples of resources that can be added to learning paths? Examples of resources that can be added to learning paths are onboarding for users just starting out, troubleshooting for more experienced users, a wiki, video, price sheet, product list, company dictionary or glossary, and a trailhead trail mix. What is the recommended time to complete learning paths? The recommended time to complete learning paths is under a half hour. What are some tips for selecting learning items for users? Some tips for selecting learning, hold on one second. Excuse me. Some tips for learning items for users are choose shorter resources to keep the learning bite-sized, assign only 1 or 2 contextual learning items per page, use due dates to give users an idea of when to complete the learning, and make help and troubleshooting content accessible, clear, and empathetic. When do required and contextual learning assignments appear in the Guidance Center panel? Required and contextual learning assignments appear in the Guidance Center panel when they're assigned to a user or team. How can Trailhead Playground be launched? A Trailhead Playground can be launched by making sure you're logged into Trailhead, clicking your user avatar in the upper right corner of the page, and selecting Hands-on Orgs from the dropdown, and clicking Launch next to the org you want to open, or if you want to create a new playground, click Create Playground. What is the learning path icon located between in the global header? The learning path icon is located between the global actions and help menu icons in the global header. Where can the option to assign learning content be found? The option to assign learning content can be found by clicking the icon for Guidance Center in the global header, then clicking the Assign Learning Content option at the bottom of the panel. All right, let's answer some questions. Why would you add learning resources inside the Salesforce app? To add contextual help for each page in the app, to contact Salesforce support, to link your company's onboarding resources, to add resources about working in Salesforce Classic, E, A, and C. What can you customize when creating a learning item? Assignment, location, rating, A and B, A and C. So we know A is the answer. It's just a matter of if B and or C is the answer. What can you customize when creating a learning item? Assignment, location, rating, A and C is E, but it's really just A, but it's really D, A, and B. How am I, the moment that the user knows no, the moment that a user the moment that a user first recognizes value in your product or solution, the moment that a user can complete a complex task in Salesforce. It's when they first recognize the value. What's the difference between the message and the purpose? The purpose is what you say to the user, the message is why you say it. I think that's probably the opposite. The message is more important than the purpose. The message is what you say to the user, the purpose is why you say it. C, they're the same thing. The message is the tone of the guidance, the purpose is the business value, and we end on 100. That was super duper fun today. Do you know we went through, I think like 150 flashcards today and took at least 10 different tests? That is what we talk about in terms of like efficiency. Now, of course, we didn't do Flow Builder is a part of Salesforce Flow. Right. Let's see something real quick. Explain how Salesforce Flow, blanket term for everything in Salesforce. Okay, so we were right. If you're a blanket term, something is a part of you. When should you build a flow? Every time you need to automate something, when you want to automate without writing code, when you need to replace an assignment rule, when you want to code. So obviously not when you want to code. Every time you need to automate something sounds a bit much. When you want to automate without writing code, I think would be the best answer. All right. We are back-to-back 100s. All right, meet Flow Builder. What is the toolbox in Flow Builder? The toolbox lists the elements and resources you've built in your flow. You can also create resources such as variables, formulas, and choices to use in your flow. How do you access Flow Builder? Go to Setup, enter flows in the quick find box and select flows. To create a flow, click new flow. What is the purpose of an interaction element? Interaction elements interact with users by presenting questions and information on a screen or by sending various types of communications. What is the purpose of a data element? Data elements instruct the flow to interact with records in the Salesforce database. Use data elements to look up, create, update, and delete them. Which flow element can send an email? So that we don't know because that wasn't a flashcard that we had created. Send email. This element, okay, hold on. The action element can do many things, but most notably it allows your flow to reach out to your users, associates, customers, and even external systems. This element can create, chat, or post, send email. So this is the action element. Action, okay? All right, another 100 points. Learn about flow variables. Now this is going to be a hands-on challenge. We did go ahead and provide note cards, so we're going to do the note cards, but we also have the hands-on challenge recorded. So we'll do it along with the recording because we're going to do the flashcards for this section. So let's go to that. What is a variable? A container in a flow that holds a piece of information. What are some common uses of variables? Storing record IDs, storing numerical values, joining text strings, retrieving customer calls, deliver intelligent service, take breaks more often, all the above. So take breaks more often, bypass customer calls. These are things that no one would really celebrate. Log in fast is good, deliver intelligent service. I would say that, but this question just seems like it wants all the above, even though I don't think it is. So let's see. All right. Customer support with existing mobile apps and websites. It seamlessly makes it possible for your agents to deliver in-app mobile support through tools like Embed Service and Chat. Now customers can see and talk. Because whole service is part of Service Cloud, agents can monitor service needs and blah, blah, blah. Supercharger. All right. I don't see anything that jumps out, so I'm going to say deliver intelligence service. With the Service Cloud platform, agents can connect with customers on any channel a support supervisor chooses, on any channel the customer chooses, if the customer is near a Wi-Fi hub, only when the customer is at a desktop computer. On any channel the support supervisor chooses, on any channel the customer chooses. Any channel the customer chooses. From the Service Console, agents can get a 360-degree view of the customer, respond to customers through email, SMS, social media, see knowledge articles, proactively see when a customer is due for service. That is definitely all the above. And perfect score again. Do you know we've gotten a perfect score all day? Not to jinx myself, but... So can ask questions and get solutions on their own. Can add their own products to product catalog, have no access. No, they do have access. So a knowledge article is an article shared only with customers, an article shared only with your agents, a product newsletter pushed to service agents, any type of shared document in your knowledge base. D. Macros are used to create a list of instructions for agents to follow, save agents times by automating repetitive tasks, talk to multiple customers online at the same time, store a large amount of data, all the above. A macro is an amazing productivity tool for agents that group a set of instructions to complete a task that support agent normally needs to do manually and triggering them with a click or a button. For agents to group. Okay. I think it might be all the above. No. We should just went with our first gut, right? Deliver omni-channel service. Right expert for their issue, route cases from any service channel, all the above. I would say all the above. Omni-channel supervisor allows contact center supervisors to back up data for easy view, collect customer feedback, view real-time operational intelligence, create knowledge-based articles. View real-time operational intelligence. Actually, I really don't know. Allows contacts. Hold on a second. Real-time operational intelligence. So that's what we have, right? Okay. With the Service Cloud platform, companies can connect with customers across which channels? Only email and SMS text, email, SMS text, and live chat, Android, iPhone applications, phone, email, blah, 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 blah. Definitely dig. You always want to pick the blah, blah, blah answer when it's about a company and their offerings. Learn about Salesforce Platinum Form Advantage. What is the Salesforce Platform Advantage? Customers like to choose who they deal with. High maintenance customers can get more attention. B. Connected customers want connected experience. Sales and Service Clouds together enable your team to deliver personalized experience based on customer insights, hand off picky sales questions to service agents, use customer buying histories to sell off old inventory, tag team questions when someone's unavailable. A. Deliver personalized experience based on customer insights. The Salesforce Platinum Advantage offers an easier way to track customer transactions, more advanced technology for measuring productivity, unrestricted customer access, seamless integration across sales, service, and more. D. All right. Let's go tell the world how great we are. All right, super cool. All right, so what's next? Navigate Lightning Experience and Setting. The Object Manager allows you to access fields, validation rules, page layouts, all of the above. Did we have that? And the new setup is a one-stop shop for managing all objects in the organization, both standard and custom. So I'm gonna go all the above. What's new about the setup tree and Lightning experience? Includes nodes for Salesforce Classic only features, gives you access to your organization settings, reorganize and streamline node structure, requires you to memorize click patterns to find things. I think it's reorganize and streamline node structure. Yeah. The new help menu can contain links to help topics, walkthroughs, developer guides, videos, all the above. Perfect. Let's go to the next one, explore the new sales tools. What are the benefits of the new opportunity and leads workspaces? Benefits include creating records quickly with fewer clicks, staying focused on important tasks to close deals quickly, view key information for a deal, update an opportunity stage, close date and amount, service vehicle locations, omnichannel, field service, social, customer service, lightning knowledge. I want to say lightning knowledge, but I don't know. All right. Field service. Which features included in the Lightning Service Console by default? Utility bar, split view, snap-in chat, A and B, B and C, so we know B is 1. So is it utility bar or snap-in's chat? I think it's utility bar. Okay. Explore other enhancements. What is the purpose of the performance chart on the homepage? It displays data based on opportunities belonging to the user or the user's sales teams. What permissions and settings are required to populate the performance chart, top deals, and the assistant on the homepage? Read access to the opportunity object and sharing access to relevant opportunities. Read access to the opportunities object amount field. Read access to the opportunities object's probability field. To populate the performance chart on the homepage, users must have closed opportunities or open opportunities with a probability of 70% during the quarter, yes. Read access to opportunity object and opportunity amounts field, sharing access to relevant opportunities. The run reports user permission enabled. See, we know A is an answer, and then E is all the above. So we're just seeing if B, C, or D even is an answer. To populate the performance chart on the homepage, users must have B, read access to the opportunity object and the opportunity field amounts field. C, sharing. I just think it might be A. And if it's not A, it's obviously E. Which of these can you do on the object homepage in both Lightning Experience and Salesforce Classic? Resize columns, access object-specific reports, use the force.com quick access menu, specify the number of records to show per list view. I think that's it. Oh, we got them both wrong. Lovely. Okay. Well, there's a second choice for Bolt. Okay, this is our last one. Good. All right, last one. With the new dashboard editor, you can drag the corners and sides of the dashboard components to resize them, make components span multiple rows, create dashboards. Okay, all the above. Which of the following is true about reports and dashboards in Lightning Experience? Dashboards you create in Lightning Experience can be edited in Salesforce Classic. No. Lightning Experience obeys sharing rules on report and dashboard folders in Salesforce Classic. Dashboards in Lightning Experience are limited to 3 columns. You can add custom sound effects to chart swapping animations. Let me just see one thing. Maybe I read it wrong. Okay, how do reports, dashboards created in Lightning Experience work in Salesforce Classic? You can view and edit reports created in Lightning Experience in Salesforce Classic, but you can't edit dashboards created in Lightning Experience in Salesforce Classic, though you can view them. Okay, so that's, like we said, A is not it. I think they obey sharing rules, right? All right. Woo woo. Okay, let's go tell the world. Hey world, we're coming for you. Today maybe, I would hope. All right. More officially. Well, might as well be sure, right? Okay. So, agents. So I think these are cases. Okay. So I think it's cases. How do you insert quick text? Using a utility, using a button or keyboard shortcut, using a double click on your mouse, using copy and paste. Using a button or keyboard shortcut. I'm pretty sure that was it. Quick text is a predefined message like a greeting, blah, blah, blah. To insert quick text, use a click button or press a keyboard shortcut. See, we had it. Okay, number 3. What happens when a user runs a macro? The system waits for you to enter a record ID to perform the instructions. The page is refreshed, the record is closed. The system performs each instruction on the open record. I actually forgot this. A macro is a set of instructions that tells the system how to complete a task. What happens when the user runs a macro? The system performs each instruction on the open record. Or is it A, the system waits for you to enter a record ID to perform the instructions? That's a tricky one. I'm gonna go with A. Well, you know what? Let's just say. A macro is a set of instructions users to complete repetitive tasks, sending an email. When a user runs a macro, the system performs each instruction on the open record. Okay, so we would have got that wrong. Oh. It said cases. I didn't see the word records anywhere. Okay, now what we did with this is what we did yesterday. We have the flashcard set up, and then we're going to watch the video to complete the hands-on possible tasks you should avoid. Why should your company focus on improving its adoption rate? Improving adoption rate protects your rep know because sales reps know, because high adoption leads to high ROI. What is the right time to tackle your company's adoption? Right now. Let's go. That was easy. Let's continue. Okay, what is the first step in creating a successful Salesforce experience? Secure executive alignment. What is an example of a commitment that Salesforce executives can make to ensure adoption? Require that their sales reps log into Salesforce a certain number of days per month. What should you do to document current processes before implementing a new technology? Ask yourself and a sales leader questions about what happens at each stage of the sales motion. What is working well? What manual processes can be automated? And at what point do sales reps have to use multiple systems to get their jobs done? What is the purpose of documenting current processes? To identify points where you can make your new system into something that sales reps actually want to use, laying the groundwork for great adoption. What should you do after securing executive alignment? Document your current sales process. What are some questions you should ask when documenting current processes? What happens at each stage of your sales motion? What are we coaching reps to do at various points in the sale? What's working well for everyone? What works well for some reps but isn't being replicated well across the board? Is it easy to replicate? What manual processes can be automated? At what points do sales reps have to use multiple systems to get their jobs done? What should you focus on when revising the sales process? Automating manual processes, getting rid of steps that aren't necessary, making processes faster and easier, and integrating data that sales reps need so that they can all in one step. What should you do after revising the sales process? Document the new and improved process that you'll create using Salesforce. What is a key factor in achieving a successful Salesforce adoption? Building trust with stakeholders by delivering on your promises. What is the ultimate goal when creating a Salesforce experience? Making Salesforce your company's go-to system. All right, let's answer some questions. What is something you should ask your executives to do before you start building your Salesforce org? Make a large Vegas-style note, commit to supporting Salesforce by being part of communications or requiring participation from your teams. Make Salesforce their full-time job. Sit down with each rep to discuss Salesforce with them. Okay. What's the most important thing you will learn from documenting your current sales processes? Who your best sales reps are, how your sales process differs from other organizations, where your process needs improvement, which sales leads actually answer their emails. Nope. Okay, let's go to the flashcards. What is a survey and how can it help you decide how to help your career? You can officially say you can have feedback from end users about improvement before launch and your sales team knows who you are. DNC, obviously. Okay, let's go to some more flashcards. What should be included in launch communications? What's coming, what's in it for reps, training, support from execs, and success stories. What is the importance of executive sponsorship? Executives set the tone for how everyone in the organization will act, and if they support Salesforce, word will get to reps quickly. What are some training methods? In-person, train the trainer, webinar video, documentation, trailhead, help menu, in-app guidance problems. What should you include when training users? What it does, how it helps them, and how to use it step by step. How can recognition help drive adoption? Create a dashboard to show how frequently each person uses Salesforce. Post it publicly, use chatter to @mention reps and their boss with positive either something you create or information that comes from the Salesforce Help website. That can be shared as a recording and is great for when new people are hired. All right, let's answer some questions. Which elements should be included in your launch materials? B and C. Which training method can be saved and used again for reps who are hired after your initial training? Video. How can executives sponsor Salesforce and support adoption? How can you encourage reps to use Salesforce? Okay. How should you gather feedback on Salesforce? Stop reps in the hallway? No. Request that the team email you with ideas? Maybe. Don't bother, it's already perfect? No. Create a process you can easily manage and track, such as a survey? Yes. What should you do after adding a new feature? Contact only the person? No. Tell your boss? No. Generate excitement by announcing news and train others? Yes. Which of the following adoption resources are available for you free? Trailhead? Yes. Consulting partners? No. Adoption webinars? Yes. A and C is D. Oh my God. Okay. And let's go tell everyone in the Facebook community. Cool. Now let's get out of here. Let's see how many points and everything we have, because that's really exciting.
During launch, user recognition, key players, user tips and tricks, instructions on accessing Salesforce. I would say instructions on accessing, hold on, we just read this. Okay, so we're right. Well, hopefully, right? Okay, 100 points. Okay, let's continue. What is the goal of creating a training plan? The goal is to create a scalable training program that is easy to use, is consistent, and answers all user questions and needs. What are the 3 steps for planning a training plan? Identifying your audience, determine relevant training scenarios, and define your training plan. What is a scenario? A scenario is a set of processes that a user typically goes through on a daily basis using Salesforce. What should be included in a training plan for a brand new user? Salesforce user basics, Salesforce user tour, reports and dashboards for lightning experience, Salesforce mobile app basics, do my job training, homepage. You need to know to deliver effective training to your end user. The processes they use in their work, the cost of Salesforce, the processes that can be accomplished in Salesforce. That's E, A, and C. Which one of these is a typical Salesforce user scenario for a sales rep? Capture meeting notes, prepping for a meeting with a prospect, creating a service case. D, A, and B. Okay, let's go back to flashcards. What is an enablement site? An enablement site is a company's unique learning content delivered through a branded experience and powered by the Trailhead online learning platform. What is Trailhead? Trailhead is a fun, gamified way to learn Salesforce. What type of content does Salesforce create for end users? Salesforce creates end-user training content that can be shared with teams. This content is best for conceptual information, onboarding basics, and calming tasks. How can users access suggested help from Salesforce? Users can access suggested help from Salesforce by opening the Guidance Center from the global header. How can you package up learning content for users? You can package up learning content for users by specific users, in-app guidance, learning paths, guidance center, B and C. When creating a learning item, which settings can you customize? Due date, location, branding, A and B. Okay. All right, let's go back to the flashcards. What is the main purpose of Salesforce User Experience Designer Certification Examination? The purpose of the Salesforce User Experience Designer Certification Examination is to evaluate a person's knowledge and understanding of the Salesforce platform and its users' experience design capabilities. How can users be motivated to complete Salesforce training? Users can be motivated to complete Salesforce training by articulating the value and benefits of the training, providing recognition or rewards, utilizing super users as resources, creating a support process, communicating updates and milestones, measuring the effectiveness of the training, and soliciting feedback from holdouts. What is Trail Tracker? Trail Tracker is a free app for managing learning content for Salesforce Trailblazers that adds capabilities to Salesforce orgs for assigning trail mixes, setting deadlines, tracking completion progress, and customizing assignment notifications. What is Learning Paths? Learning Paths is a feature within Salesforce that makes it easy for encouraging them to submit suggestions for an. Well, that's also motivating too. I don't remember promoting them being part of this, so we're going to go with A and C. Why should you reach out to holdouts? They can have valuable feedback to help you improve, yes. It can make your job easier, no. So you can offer them incentives to adopt Salesforce, maybe. So they can create bug reports saving you time, no. It's important to notify them that they're behind on training, no. I really hope A is the answer, because people that are holdouts are just full of information because they're going to tell you why they're holding out, and if you tackle every single one of them, people won't hold out anymore. But if it's incentives to adopt Salesforce, I'll be a little disappointed. No, okay, good, we got the right answer. All right, let's tell the world about all of our badges. All right. Is this the correct one? Getting started with Salesforce CRM, navigate around. I don't know why they recommend things that are off trail. Like, that's not on our trail. So I have to press back a bazillion times. Okay, the sales channel and transforming service. Okay, let's get to some questions. 80% of buyers in the Salesforce survey said, well, we have no idea because that wasn't one of our cards. So let's just see where the number 80% is. They expect sellers to interact and respond to them in real time. So we actually had that just without the 80% part. Okay. Whether you are selling educational services or industrial manufacturing equipment, the goal is to transform service, transform sales and service, and make business buying easy. Modernizing the sales channel, transform service and make business buying easy. Make business buying easy, modernize service and transform sales. Transform customer engagement, grow customer satisfaction, and modernize channel management. I gotta tell you, A, B, and C kind of all say the same thing, which leads me to believe that one of them is the right answer. But D just sounds like the right answer. And of course, D was wrong, so. All right. Am I supposed to have it in a different order? Okay, transform services in two of them, transform sales. Make business buying easy. And what the? Modernize the sales channel. All right. Well, that one was a little bit of a punch, but I read the operations. We go with fundamental data for the number one CRM. Only because, again, Salesforce is the number one CRM, so I can't imagine any question, any answer being more right than that, especially since Salesforce is a for-profit company. What are 4 organizational buckets for B2B commerce? All right, let's just get them right. I remember we did this. I could have sworn we did the word bucket somewhere. Okay. User experience, commerce engine, accounts and order management, and dashboard supports. All right, let's keep it going with B2B commerce. The Experience Builder for B2B commerce is a feature of B2B commerce on a Lightning experience which enables users to quickly and easily build storefronts with drag and drop components. What are the standard objects for B2B commerce? The standard objects for B2B commerce are objects such as the cart, product, and category objects that are uniform across Salesforce, so storefront managers or admins only have to create them once. All right, let's answer some questions. Which of these features is included in B2B commerce on Lightning Experience? Lightning Commerce Template, Partner Relationship Management, Digital Experience Platform. I don't remember the word Partner Relationship Management, but I do remember Digital Experience Platforms. Let's go E, A, and C. Which of these is a benefit of having B2B commerce on Lightning Experience? Storefront managers can launch e-commerce faster and easier. B2B commerce uses B2C. I don't think we ever even saw the word B2C. Storefront managers can use third-party UI build apps. That's interesting. But we did see Einstein, so A and B, so D, A and B. So sometimes I go through things kind of quickly and I don't read all the words and stuff that you might think like, wait, you're kind of being irresponsible here. At this point of our time together, I really think it's important that you do learn how to take a test. Like I have certainly shared examples along the way. When taking a test, there are certain words that are a recommended editing environment for Visualforce development and lightning experience. The developer console, the setup editor, development mode footer, Eclipse with the Force.com IDE. I don't remember reading that, so we'll pick that. Which of the following statements is true? You can see a Visualforce page and lightning experience in your browser by navigating to /apex/the page name. Now it's just page name. You can see a Visualforce page and lightning experience in your browser by navigating to /1 / no, that's long and annoying. It's totally fine to postpone testing your Visualforce pages until now. You can accurately test your Visualforce page and lightning experience using just one desktop. So it actually might be the page name. No, they're both incorrect. Great. It was B and D. Now, mind you, when we get the answers incorrect, and you see I get both incorrect, but then able to get the second try getting correct on both, it's not by coincidence. It's because when processing the answers, you're always looking for which one is most correct, which means you're going to have a second that is second most correct. And if you follow along with the chapter and you stay with the learning, your second best choice, when your first best choice isn't the answer, should be the correct choice. And so often it is for both of ours, justifying. Yeah, let's get to some questions. Which of the following statements is true? Setting window.location directly is fine to do in Salesforce Classic. You can't use window.postMessage to send messages from your Visualforce page iframe to code running in Lightning Experience. Your Visualforce page can access DOM elements of the Lightning Experience navigation items. The sforce.one JavaScript utility object is injected into your page in Salesforce Classic. I think it's D. Which of the following are different from when Visualforce pages are displayed in Lightning Experience? Style sheets added to Visualforce pages. Quick check settings for Visualforce page. The JavaScript coded. I think it's all the above. They're both wrong. All right. What are the two global variables used to determine current user experience context? That's code, you just have to read it. What are the possible values for user UI theme and user UI theme displayed? Again, code. How can you use the user UI theme display variation no matter what the user experience content is? Making sure two separate pages look different but behave the same is a non-trivial problem. I'm going to go with A because we know that to be true. And if it's not, we're going to know it's going to be D. Which of the following tells you the current user experience context when using Visualforce markup? That was the code thing. Which of the following tells you the current user experience context? I don't know. Let's find out. Okay, user.ui theme and user.ui theme display. Okay. All right, well, that's not good. We have them both. Okay, hold on. The difference between the two variables is that user theme returns the look and feel the user is supposed to see, and theme displayed returns the look and feel the user actually sees. All right. Let's see if that changes anything. Oh, the current user experience, so the one that they're actually using. I would say big. Which of the following tells you the current user experience context when using JavaScript static resource? What? Oh, is it different for UI theme .get UI theme is JavaScript. Right? Okay. This is Apex. Is that Visual Force markup somewhere? Okay. I think we're okay. 4. Which of the following tells you the current user experience context when used in Apex? Okay. User info dot get UI theme and displayed. I'm getting really confused why they have both. Let's just do that again. Why do we not recommend using SOQL to query for the user's preferred UX steps? Are not performant. The return value may not always match what the user is seeing on their browser. The user's preferred UX context, none of them. Let's go all the above. Okay. There. What is the second rule for building Visual Force navigation in JavaScript? Do not set window.location directly. Okay, let's answer some questions. In Salesforce Classic, which of the following is not a supported way to navigate from the current page to another page? Return a page reference object to an action method. Create a link using the expression, blah, blah, blah. sforce.1.navigate to object record ID. Set window.location to the URL of the page. I'm pretty sure it always said, like, don't ever touch that. So let's just go with that one. In Lightning Experience, which of the following is not a supported way to navigate from the current page to another page? So it's kind of all the same stuff with the same D. I'm pretty sure it just always said never touch that button. All right, so the bottom one's right, but not the top one. Okay. think it's A, the one without the code. Nope. Now we're just guessing at this point. Oh, of course, the last one. Which is styling classes. Alright, let's answer some questions. Which of the following statements is true? Visualforce pages use the same visual styling in both Salesforce Classic and Lightning Experience. You can easily add style sheets specific to Lightning Experience to your Visualforce pages. The Lightning Design System is the best way to add your Lightning Experience visual design to your pages. C is correct. I'm not sure about A and B, so if C is not the right answer, we'll do D, all the above. Which of the following statements is true? If you're creating new Visualforce pages for Lightning Experience from scratch, you should use the Lightning Design System, yes. By default, built-in Visualforce components always use Salesforce Classic Visual Design, I don't know. The Lightning Design System includes CSS style sheets, icons, and fonts. It does, so I'm going to go all the above. They're both all the above, so obnoxious. Alright, this is our last one. I know you are just so excited. What components should you, alright? Let's answer our final questions. Which attributes of Apex :page have no effect in Lightning Experience? Sidebar, standard style sheets, show header, D, A, and C. Which of the following statements is true? As of Spring 16 release, you can't customize the Lightning Experience homepage. The Apex related list tag displays all related lists in Lightning Experience. You can't use Visualforce and all the above. Nope. Alright. Woohoo. Okay. We're posting, we're letting the whole world know. Everyone, you get to be told, and you get to be told. Okay. Now when we go back. Let's see where we're at. We finished that. So this is what we have going forward. Testing. So this is an article. Welcome to Design Thinking. In fact, I did read it, so I'll just mark it complete.
And A, B, and C. So we know B and C are correct. Let's look at A. When combined with JavaScript, SLDS gives engineers the structure to build accessible components. Let's see, start building now. You know what? Let's look up the word JavaScript, right? Developers combine the design system's components in multiple ways to help build applications in JavaScript. Guidelines as instructions for assembling components. Okay, so I think it's A, B, and C. How does a design system support efficiency? It helps designers and developers get up to speed quickly. It enables multiple developers to work on a single component at the same time. It gives users a way to customize the functionality of Lightning Experience. It eliminates the need to test components in Salesforce applications. C, it gives users a way to customize functionality of Lightning Experience. Oh, they're both wrong. Lovely. Hmm. 25 points. Oh. All right. Learn how and why we developed SLDS. What year did Salesforce Lightning Design Systems team begin documenting a pattern library and building an initial style guide? SLDS team. Maintain a coherent experience across products as Salesforce grows. Update SLDS patterns with each Salesforce release. Incorporate design features of acquired companies into SLDS. Maintain the front-end code for all products. E, A, B, and C. All right, let's answer some questions. Become an advocate for SLDS. What is the purpose of the Salesforce Lightning Design System? The Salesforce Lightning Design System, SLDS, helps to improve user experience by providing consistent design patterns and making it easier to build solutions that use structured, trusted patterns, improve feature adoption, scale faster with less technical debt, and provide accessibility for users with disabilities. Who is responsible for maintaining the Salesforce Lightning Design System? The Salesforce Lightning Design System is the responsibility of an entire community, including the designers and engineers of the Salesforce Design Systems team, Salesforce researchers, accessibility specialists, product designers, product managers, and engineers, as well as an active open source community. What are the benefits of using the Salesforce Lightning Design System? Using SLDS can help any size project run smoothly, reducing both workload and technical debt. Salesforce accessibility specialists, designers and engineers in Salesforce Partner Organization, users of software from Salesforce partners. A, B, and C? Yeah. Which of these is part of an SLDS ambassador skill set? Service design team's connection to the Salesforce Chief Product Officer. Provide expert knowledge on SLDS and its implementation. Approve or deny all potential contributions to SLDS. Approve the use of drop shadows. Wait, what? Did I not click B? You gotta be kidding me. Okay, explore SLDS resources. What is the official objective of the Salesforce design team? Establish a high-quality brand-aligned experience across our product through human guidance and internal tools. What are the two types of design guidelines in SLDS? Design guidelines and component blueprints. What are the design tokens used for? To store visual design attributes and maintain a consistent UI. What kind of accessibility guidelines does Salesforce strive? HTML blueprints, patterns, design tokens, Lightning Web Components design guidelines. Lightning Web Components. Which element is outside the realm of SLDS? CSS framework. What? Talk about like really doing poorly. I feel like we're having a case of senioritis right now. Let's just continue telling the world, look at us, we are fabulous. Okay. And the last module. Lightning Web Component Basics. Hold on. Lightning Web Component Basics. Where is that? Am I missing something? Org components can live together in the same Salesforce org. All right, let's answer some questions. A Lightning Web Component requires which of the following files? Okay, I have no idea. Let's just go look. Lightning Web Components. Knowledge and familiar with standard technologies like HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, right? HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. An IDE like webcomponents.dev lets you do which of the following? Which includes base components and cells that we create. Let's go look at our files. Use an integrated development environment IDE to try out your components, tinker with them, and see instant results. Now, so try your components in a simulated memory. Am I losing it? Did I not see that? A Lightning Web Component requires which of the following files? HTML, JavaScript, CSS. Alright, hash can, components have to give it up, and I get it existing support for components. Really upset about that one, but such is life, you move on. Create Lightning Web Components. What is the base class for Lightning Web Components? Lightning Element. Standard components, the template tag contains the HTML for your component. The template tag inserts predefined elements. I think it's their version of a div tag. What do you have to include in a component's JavaScript file? You know what, I'm not really sure if that's a template tag, so let's just see. Oh, contains the HTML. What do you have to include in a component's JavaScript file? I don't know, let's find out. All right. Input data, events, changes to state, and more to make your component work. The JavaScript file for Lightning Web Component must include at least this code where my component is the name of your assigned component class. Alright. Oh, I think this is one of the answers we went over. E. Nope. Add API? Nope. We are nothing.